this weird sporting thing that we do here in San Diego every single year. And it's just, oh, yeah, the Padres are still playing, and they are absolutely horrific to watch on a night in, night out basis. Good morning, fellas. This is like one of those seasons, you know, the old expression, like the gift that keeps on giving. What's the opposite of that? Because that's what we're all experiencing together collectively.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Kick you while you're down type of a feeling. I don't know. I honestly, I'm at a loss. Yesterday with a game they should have won, a game they were up, a game against a team that has been absolutely terrible, against a team they have to make up ground on, and they still find a way to blow it. Yeah, it's
against a pitcher who had the worst ERA in baseball coming into that game.
Right. There was that too. Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch last night. I actually, that's the exact opposite of what it is. And that's kind of where we're starting today is, you know, we are collectively also as a group here on this show looking for other ways to entertain ourselves outside of the San Diego Padres because of how abysmal of a season it has been. Like, for example, last night, you and Travis, you guys went to Post Malone separately but together.
Woo! Yeah.
Dude, it was pretty awesome.
That was actually one of my favorite concerts I've been at.
Same.
I mean, he was absolutely phenomenal. I'm literally top 5 concerts I've ever seen. Fun watch. He engaged with the crowd. There was a lot of MFers dropped.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, a lot.
I mean, I can't count how many times he said, I just want every single one of you MFers to know how much I MF and love you.
Yeah. If it was a drinking game of an MFer Post Malone drop,
oh, we'd be done.
We'd die. But
he was like, because I know most of the song. I think there was one song last night that I hadn't heard before.
Yeah, the same. But it was great.
Yeah, and he did such a good job of blending his music together and engaging the crowd, like you said, and trying to get everybody on the exact same page, which was, let's have a little bit of positivity in this world that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to scream at you.
Yeah, and then he thanked Chula Vista for being there.
Yeah, not San Diego.
well, I mean, he knew exactly where he was.
Oh, yeah, Google Maps would tell him he's correct.
You are in Chula Vista, sir. So
correct.
Well done, Posty.
At about 10:15, I looked over to Sarah and said, hey, look, I think he's got one more song. He's going to come out, then do the encore. We had driven separate cars because we had the family that came down, so we couldn't all fit in one. And I'm like, I'm going to head out now so I can get home and get some sleep. And then she gave me the, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's totally fine. So I stayed until the end.
Yeah. Oh, Kendall made me leave. I didn't want to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I looked down right about the encore time and I was like, Ben left. He's gone.
I left right after Sunflower, which is her favorite Post Malone song.
Oh,
so she wanted to see that. Then we bounced. And then he played Chemical. And then did he do anything else after that?
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, Chemical?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Chemical was the end.
That was the one he said was going to be the end.
Yeah. That was the end.
Well, I was blown away. It was awesome.
It was. It's also good, like when you're kind of, you know, in and out of a concert and you don't feel like you miss much. Like Ben, I feel like you timed it perfectly. Like when you're listening to the last song on your way to the car, especially in an outdoor amphitheater, and then you miss all the traffic leaving. Travis, unfortunately for you, you were with all the taillights as you were making your way out of Chula Vista. And thank you, Chula Vista, for showing up last night for Post Malone.
I got home at about 12:50. Yeah.
Actually,
yes.
How long were you stuck there?
It took over an hour to get out of the parking lot.
Oh, it took us 15 minutes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no. I left my space. I drove about 19 feet, and then I stopped for 45 minutes before we moved another 6 feet. Yeah.
That's what you want. That's what you want when you're leaving a concert venue.
Perfect. So alarm went off at 3:45, which was super cool.
Awesome. And we're all here. We're still best friends.
I really wanted to bring Ozzy out, but it was cool having Ozzy on the screen.
Yeah, that was cool too. That was cool.
We are also going to be giving away concert tickets all week long. We've got pairs of tickets everywhere. You could go see Duran Duran at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater down there on August 22nd. You can see Pantera, North Island Credit Union. That's going to be on August 26th. Pair of tickets to see Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square. All that information at Ticketmaster.com, or just keep listening to this show because we got 3 pairs of concert tickets to give away. You know what we're not doing is giving away Padres tickets. And here's the reason why.
They don't let us.
Yeah.
Well, there's 2 reasons. Okay, there's 2 reasons. There's 2 reasons why, Ben. 2 reasons why. First one, you nailed it. Second one, we're really, I mean, we're all about having a good time on this show. This is, I really feel like we wake up in the morning and whatever it is, the drudgery of dragging our bones out of bed some days, like it's not a Herculean task. I mean, we get to talk sports for a living, so this isn't all that difficult. But as soon as we get together, we have a little bit of a pact. Like, we're going to try to have a good time for as long of a time as they let us. And we accomplish that most days. But the days when we start the show talking about the Padres, like we did twice on Friday, we started 2 hours talking about the Padres. We're just upset. We're yelling. We're not even yelling at each other. We're just yelling. It's like we're barking at the moon.
Yeah.
Travis
this
threw
team is so frustrating.
Travis threw an egg roll at me last week.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
He did throw an
I can
egg
still
roll.
see the remnants right in front of me.
A lot of grease on that window. That was, you know, what? Bar Car Friday got out of control.
You still ate it though.
No,
I ate it.
Oh,
Rich ate it. Yeah, Rich ate it.
So this is kind of nice, Richie, because you're not physically in Chula Vista or San Diego, but we do still get to see you. So
Yeah.
if you would also like to see Rich, head on over to our YouTube at Big Rich TD Fletch. Because usually I hate doing remote shows, but I still could see your like beautiful hair, which you've done,
Wow.
your cute little button nose.
Oh, thank you
I
very
like
much.
it's all
how
there.
I like how you got the headset mic on.
Yeah. I mean, you know what's interesting about these is every time I put it on, I feel, for whatever reason, more professional than when I'm just using a regular microphone. So, like, you know, I'm broadcasting from my wife's mom's office. And I'm sure there are going to be people moseying in here at some point during the show. And as they walk by, they're going to look at me and I look like the receptionist here. Like I look like I belong. Like hello, coffee's over that way. Even though we're apart, we're still very close together. And if you want to see us on YouTube, check us out. Big Rich TD and Fletch. They're also Big Rich TD Fletch on Instagram, X, and TikTok as well. Still not really used to calling that.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about there? Quick question before we get into Padres. How are you guys doing on our next level fit guy stuff, paleo diet?
It was a bad weekend.
Oh, I hate paleo so much.
I have a confession.
Yeah.
I think I've maybe had 1 day of paleo in the past 8 days.
Oh,
And it might have been Monday of last. Nope, it wasn't. I had Taco Bell. There's 0 days of paleo. I've had moments of paleo, but I have not been good at this.
Okay. So outside of what we've been doing together, which
Golf,
almost
Bar Car Friday, Taco Bell.
well,
ruined it.
Monday I couldn't join you guys because I had a tooth removed
Mhm.
last Monday.
Mhm.
But outside of golf and Bar Car Friday, I've been doing the paleo thing. Let me tell you. So carnivore diet was tricky because we only could eat meat and eggs during carnivore. I thought this was going to be a million times better because we're reintroducing fruit and vegetables as much and in whatever abundance you want, plus some nuts and berries and all that stuff. It's just as difficult as carnivore
I completely agree.
because, as it turns out, I don't want to eat all that stuff anyways.
All I want is cheese, like 100% cheese. Nope, take that back. 50% cheese, 50% bread. That's all I want at
Oh
all.
my
I mean,
God.
that's it. But I thought, okay, I was going to start my week. It's going to be very paleo. I went and picked up a Monster this morning from the gas station, sugar-free. I cracked it open. I took a sip and went, wow, that's sweet.
Yeah.
It's not sugar-free. It's not.
Our diet
Yeah.
starts today.
And
It
we
was a bad
all
weekend.
know that in the Paleolithic times, they drank Monsters.
Oh yeah.
Sugar
How
free.
else
that's
were
true.
they able to
Sugar-free
tackle dinosaurs?
Only sugar-free
One-
monsters.
one-
Speaking of
100%.
tackling monsters, the Padres, they are trying to chase away their demons, and their demons are collapsing during close games. Their demons are staying relevant in this ridiculously wide open NL wildcard race, which still, when you look at it,
5.5.
5.5 back. Like if the Padres win on a heater suddenly, say they won 8 games in a row, which by the way, right now doesn't sound like something that's even remotely possible. But if they got hot all of a sudden, they'd be right in the conversation of the postseason. But this is such a frustrating season because every single time it feels like they create any inertia, any momentum in the right direction, they just completely cancel it out. This was a series they could have won, and instead they collapse just like usual. They lose 5-4 to the Diamondbacks, and it sort of feels like we're spinning our wheels. We're right back where we started.
So they got a 10-game homestand coming up, starting with 3 against the Orioles, which that takes place starting today. Now, the Orioles have actually been very good this year, which is not something you could have said over the last decade, but they have been. I'm curious to see what this looks like because that series against the Diamondbacks, and remember, the Diamondbacks had been on their worst stretch of the entire season. They had lost 9 straight, including that first game against the Padres. And then the Padres just do nothing for the last 2 days. And yesterday was a bizarre one because it was similar to how a lot of games have gone this year. They have the lead early, they get down by 1 run, and you just feel like it's done. And it was done. And there was no coming back from that. Now, also mixed in yesterday was a Bob Nightingale report that came out talking about Bob Melvin and his job security and how it's not secure at all. And that Ryan Flaherty, who's currently the bench coach, who used to be Manny Machado's teammate on the Orioles, could be either the interim if the Bob Melvin firing happens soon, or he may be able to be the successor if the Bob Melvin firing takes place after the season. Now, again, this is Bob Nightingale. Take that how you want to. I understand people in San Diego not wanting to listen to him. But, man, we are 44 games left, and we're talking about a manager being fired in a year that you thought legitimately this team had World Series aspirations.
Yep.
And that's just how it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't really fathom it. I don't know how it's actually going to help. And AJ Preller has had so many opportunities at this. You know, like we've legitimately seen AJ Preller now hire 4 managers. He's had 4 managers during his tenure, and he's had one of the highest losing percentages of any general manager in Major League Baseball during his tenure. I mean, he's the king of second chances, or I should say, Peter Seidler's the king of second chances. Like he apparently just has all of the grace in the world to do whatever he feels he needs to do to accomplish this impossible task, it seems, of making the Padres a consistent winner. I mean, what does firing Bob Melvin do that firing Andy Green didn't do, or firing Jace Tingler hasn't done? I don't really understand how that's the solution.
It does feel to me that the time for AJ Preller is come and gone, unfortunately. Like, how could it get better than having this many superstars on one team? Like, what could Peter have done differently other than listen to someone else? Because I really don't know. AJ Preller has not won since he's been with the San Diego Padres outside of a COVID season. And I'm talking regular season. Last year was special. We all remember that. We all lived it. But AJ Preller, at a certain point, you got to stop firing people beneath him, right? And so this trade deadline this year, are we going to look back on that and think about what a disaster it was because you didn't go out and reload the farm with Josh Hader and Blake Snell, both who would have been highly sought after trade targets? Like, the fact that they didn't do that kind of felt like at the time, well, this is AJ trying to save his job. Well, in order for AJ to save his job with that, it would have had to work. Now, it still can work. We've been talking about it. They could go on a heater, but they haven't won more than 3 straight games all season. Like, what's showing us that they can go on a heater? Nothing. So 44 games left. Right now, you're looking like a team that's going to finish in the 70s and under 500. And that's just, it shouldn't be good enough. But with all that being said, I don't think AJ Preller loses a job. I do think Bob Melvin loses his. And next year, they try to run it back with the same group of players.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I hate that feeling when you feel like you've run out of good choices, so all you're left with is bad ones.
Right.
And I sort of feel like Peter Seidler in some ways is getting closer and closer to that. I don't want to say like, oh, that's it. I throw my hands up in the air and I give up on this team altogether, because this roster does have talent. I just don't understand how this roster has underplayed its talent as much as it has. Now, you could blame the manager, but again, I don't necessarily think that's the first place I look. The chemistry in the clubhouse doesn't seem great. I'm not an insider. I don't spend any time in that clubhouse. I don't spend any time, close to these players like Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, who's there every single night, or some of the people who we get an opportunity to talk to on a regular basis, like Derek Togerson, who gets there once a week or during homestands when he can spend some time in the clubhouse. Everybody says there's this eeriness that you feel when you walk around there. Now, maybe that's just a losing, because losing has a feeling of its own, but maybe there's something more to that. Is Bob Melvin in complete control of that? I say no. I mean, in baseball, it's a very individual sport. I mean, it's hitter pitcher. You go to the plate for your plate appearances. You go to the plate and you either produce or you don't produce. You get the ball in your hand and it's your start. You either produce or you don't produce. It's not the manager that's making the plays out there. It's the players. It's not the manager who's in control of relationships inside of the clubhouse. It's the players. So they need better leadership from their players, in my opinion, for this thing to ever resemble an actual team.
It's ugly, man. And it's just not what was promised here. And now we're kind of doing the thing where we said it in our group text yesterday. Oh my God, football's back.
Yeah.
And it feels like a lot of San Diego's kind of ready to turn the page on this team, which is unfortunate because we do remember how special last year was when there was winning. And towards the end of the regular season, we could start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel of the postseason. And then we got to the postseason and downtown Gaslamp was on fire. It was one of the most incredible things we've been a part of. And it just doesn't feel like we're getting there this year. And that's okay.
Yeah.
Look, this organization has a long time of losing. It's just not what was promised.
At least Snapdragon was on fire this weekend.
Oh, dude, that was dope.
Yeah.
Jalen Maiden. Let's go.
Yeah. So Maiden, look, it's been, up and down during training camp. There have been some good days and some bad days, like you would expect when you're switching over offensive philosophies. Ryan Lindley is now the offensive coordinator with the San Diego State Aztecs. But yeah, if you missed it this weekend, the Aztecs held their annual training camp scrimmage over at Snapdragon Stadium. Until last year, they weren't able to do this in San Diego for a long, long time. But they were able to go out there. The first team offense just went straight down the field. They had that long completion in the middle of the field.
Breon Penny
catches like a 50-yarder, and then you have a fourth down conversion on the drive, which led to a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, look, if the offense can do that every single time they're out there, there's going to be no complaints from anybody going to the games.
My thought process is, I read Kurt Kenny's article yesterday, and Rich, you and I, we've been covering the Aztecs for quite a few years now. When's the last time you saw Kurt Kenny write something that glowing about an Aztec offense?
Ooh, it's been a little while. Because I don't blame Kirk. I mean, we haven't seen long passes in opening drives, even if it's just in a scrimmage, in quite some time, because this team has been a lot of, hey, we're going to really focus on the run game, But there was a lot of excitement with the way the offense played.
And I don't want to misquote him, and I don't have it right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that there was a line in that article from Kurt Kenny that said, "What in the Don Coryell is this?" Because it just looks different. So is Ryan Lindley that big of a difference from what the Aztecs have had for the last decade or so? Is Ryan Lindley impacting that much change on the offensive side of the football? And are we going to get a little more exciting Aztec offense where for years it's been ground and pound, and it's been effective as hell? They've won a lot of football games with the ground and pound style. But do you think that we're going to see something change up a little bit this year, whether it's Jalen Maiden, Kyle Crum, whoever in the quarterback room? But is there something new in place on the Mesa that we haven't seen in a long time?
Well, you know what? I always explain it like this when I try to explain philosophies to people in football. Right. So, if you have back pain, for example, and you go to a
store.
Yeah, you go to the Good Feet store, but they're going to give you arch supports. But no, actually, that's the perfect example. If you have back pain and you walk through the Good Feet store, they're going to say, hey, let's fit you for arch supports. If you have back pain and you walk into a surgeon's office, he's going to say, okay, we're going to take an MRI and we're going to look to do surgery on your lower back, or, a discectomy or something like that. If you have back pain and you go to a chiropractor, they're going to say, hey, get on the table. We have some cracking to do. Everybody is going to specialize in their specialty. Ryan Lindley's specialty as a former professional quarterback is throwing the football. So as an offensive coordinator, you can guarantee he's going to want to try to throw the football and feature the passing game. So I do think it's going to look different. I think he comes from a school of thought where, yeah, the running game is important, but you can get the ball, you can advance the ball a lot further. And by the way, those chunk plays like you saw in the opening drive are things that were missing from this offense. Like you can do it a lot further and a lot more often if you have more attempts. And that's what I think we're going to see is at very least early in the season, more attempts at passing the ball. I'm excited.
So not this Saturday, but the following Saturday will be the opener for Snapdragon Stadium for this year. They're going to be playing Ohio. We will be out there with our pregame show right where we were last year, and that's where we were on Saturday as well. So as you're kind of walking up Snapdragon through Aztec Village, you'll see the big 760 tent come by, give us all a high five, give us a hug, rub the Aztecs helmet for good luck that we'll have out there. I can't wait, man. It's that time of year again. And we know Snapdragon will show out, which is the coolest thing because we have that now here in San Diego. But Saturday was pretty cool seeing the reports firsthand and secondhand like we were able to see because, man, we need football in San Diego right now.
No question about it. Also, we have concerts coming to town all through the month of August. If you're interested in seeing Duran Duran, Pantera, or Darius Rucker, be listening to this show because we're giving away pairs of tickets all day long to those 3 shows coming up. But coming up next, speaking of football, we've got a controversy brewing at the quarterback position in a team or city that we didn't expect. That's coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Is there a quarterback controversy brewing in Jacksonville? Well, probably not, but this was pretty sweet. Coming up next. This update is presented by AutoZone. Padres, they dropped 2 out of 3 to the D-backs over the weekend. Now they are 5.5 games out of that final playoff spot in the National League. Just 44 games left to go. Padres do get a little 10-game homestand starting today. They'll do 3 against the Orioles to open it up. NL West yesterday, Giants beat the Rangers 3-2. Dodgers took down the Rockies 8-3. Dodgers have now won 8 straight games. In the NFL, a couple of preseason games yesterday. The Las Vegas Raiders beat the 49ers 34-7. No Jimmy Garoppolo, no Brock Purdy. Although Trey Lance did start and threw a touchdown. That was definitely a touchdown, not an almost interception that ended up getting caught by the Niners. The Saints beat the Chiefs 26-24. And in golf, Lucas Glover, he wins the FedEx Cup opening tournament at TPC Southwind in the hot and humid Tennessee weather. Glover, along with the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings, they're going to compete in the BMW Championship next week at the North Course at Olympia Fields in Illinois. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. So get in the zone. It's AutoZone.
Big Rich, CD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, rolling through a Monday. Bunch of tickets to give away. Duran, August 22nd, North Island Credit Union Amphitheater. Pantera at the same place, August 26th. Darius Rucker at Gallagher Square, August 25th. All info and ticket information, go to Ticketmaster.com, or just keep listening for your chance to win. It is a Monday, and that's Bunkman. That will be played.
Yeah, we got that Spunk Man coming up in a little bit. But yeah, what do you got, Ben?
Well, the lady who was on the plane screaming at people is like a stone cold hottie. Is that what we've learned?
Yeah.
We have learned that. Yes.
We were sharing a couple of photos pre-show because I saw the first post that she had made since all this went down on the plane. So everybody knows what we're talking, right? It's the lady who went, I don't care what anybody tells me, that MFer back there isn't real. The lady who got thrown off the flight for accusing somebody of being, I guess, a lizard person or a shapeshifter while she was leaving a flight she had boarded. So yeah, turns out she's she's smoking hot.
Yeah, she's I guess like a salesperson, marketing executive is what they're listing her as. I don't exactly know where, but she's issuing an apology, and I mean, I accept it. Apology
Forgiven.
accepted. You're
Very good with
yeah,
it. We are
Tiffany Gomez.
Everything is okay, Tiffany. We are a-okay.
We're ready to believe you.
Now, if she wasn't a stone cold hottie, would people be more upset about this?
It wouldn't be a story anymore.
No, exactly.
Yeah. Like the story would be over, Ben. It wouldn't be like people were upset or not upset. It would just be like, oh yeah, remember that? That was a weird thing. Anyways,
yeah.
But the fact that she has now come out and she's like made this like long kind of rambling post about how embarrassed she is that this has happened. I think she's trying to get people to raise money for a cause. I couldn't sit through the entire post, but that's where it sounded like it was heading.
Yeah, exactly. It's Tiffany Gomez, words. Here's some pictures. I mean, it sounds insane to me, but that's fine.
Yeah,
we're here
I
now.
wonder what she saw on the plane.
She saw the same thing that I see when I overdo it with the gummies before bed. Like you start to see things that aren't there. You start to hear voices. It's terrifying.
You know what it looked like?
Like, what if there was someone who isn't real on that plane?
Yeah. You know what it looked like to me watching back the video, because now they've released other people's video of the pre and post of this happening. It sounded like she wanted to get off the plane for some reason. So she was throwing a fit and just saying things to try to get her tossed off the plane. And it worked.
Yeah. Oh, she got off the plane.
Yeah.
She may not be allowed on one anytime in the future. Like, I love how like now she's like completely rational and she sounds very, very upset about it. But it's only because she now has a bachelorette party in Nashville that's coming up. She really wants to go to it. And if she doesn't get American Airlines to let her back on the airplanes, like she's going to have to drive from Texas to Nashville or something like that.
Spirit will let her on. Yeah.
Please, yeah.
She can only fly Frontier and Spirit from now on.
Thank you, Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Good night.
You MFers.
You MFers are not real. Not a single one of you. Holy smokes. Okay, so we talked about the Padres. I think we were able to do that without losing our minds. And this is the first time in 2 weeks we've been able to do that. We had a happier conversation about the San Diego State Aztecs because their offense looks like it's clicking in, especially at the end of training camp. That's especially what you want to see because the defense always gets going first. It's always the offenses that you want to see sort of catch up at the tail end of training camp. And that's what we got to witness this weekend, Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. And now we turn our attention to the NFL, where there are certain players who are absolutely bawling out of their minds. This backup quarterback in Jacksonville, did you guys see that throw?
Oh my gosh, it was fantastic. Not just the throw, the whole play.
He broke like 5 tackles before he got rid of the football.
Oh my gosh, that guy should have been sacked. Yeah, literally 5 times.
It was the coolest thing I've
ever seen. It was a little bit like Prime Big Ben, except he wasn't as big.
Oh,
but like
yeah.
Prime Big Ben, when he would like be in the pocket and the offensive line would collapse, he'd get hit 9 times and still somehow make an awesome throw to Hines Ward or Antonio Brown down the field.
Well, except Prime Big Ben was a tank. This guy was just slipping out of him.
I don't know how he did that. If anything, what I took away from that video was bad tackling.
Yeah. Really, really bad.
You
really
mean
bad.
we shouldn't bring a whole lot from this because it was like 4th string versus 4th string?
Like high school players.
Yeah.
It was so cool, though.
It was awesome.
It was
awesome. Yeah, that was a Padre palate cleanser right there.
Yeah, there's no question.
And then, did you guys see Trey Lance threw a touchdown pass?
I
Okay, wait, hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Wait.
Hang on. I get
was
Travis.
so bad.
If you didn't exactly see how this went down, I need to. So Trey Lance threw a football to the wrong team.
Yes.
He threw the football into the hands of a defensive back.
Look, if he was trying to throw it to him, it was spot on. It was a great throw.
And then the ball ricocheted off his hand or his helmet, and it went flying sideways. and it landed in the waiting arms of Ross Dwelly,
Correct.
who used to play football here collegiately in San Diego. And he caught it for a touchdown. And the cameraman had no idea what happened.
6 points is 6 points. That's all I'm saying.
He was also sacked 4 times.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But
That's
good thing
right.
Trey Lance isn't the starting quarterback.
Trey Lance,
Yeah.
he likes to hold on to that football.
Trey Lance may need to find a new team.
So yeah, he probably will because Sam Darnold probably is a better quarterback than Trey Lance at this point. But
Probably.
did you guys see the stadium at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas?
Oh no, I didn't.
It was full of 49er fans.
Was it really?
You could
Yeah.
see, like, they did the shot from kind of up at the crow's nest where the broadcasters would sit, and it was all red.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Vegas, I mean, any teams in Vegas, they're going to experience that sort of transient mentality where, first of all, a lot of people who live in Vegas are from a lot of places. Secondly, I mean, what better place to go and take in a game during the course of the regular season or the preseason, I guess.
Yeah, especially preseason, because you could probably get tickets for $25.
I mean, they're giving them away. I bet you at some of these casino resorts, it's like, hey, come for the weekend. We'll send you to the game for free as long as you buy your room and you gamble at our casino. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense that there were a lot of Niner fans there. A lot of Niner fans disappointed in the fact that years ago now, Trey Lance, what was this, the 27? No, it wasn't the 2017.
No, it was after the COVID year. It would have been 2021.
2021 draft. The 49ers traded a whole boatload of capital.
Total of 3 first rounders, actually.
Yeah, to get Trey Lance. And he stinks. I mean that like he's look, he looks like a rookie. He, like, when you looked at Anthony Richardson, when you looked at CJ Stroud this weekend, when you looked at Bryce Young, you thought to yourself, like, okay, yeah, all these guys are rookies. The potential is still there. Trey Lance, he still looks like a rookie, and it's part and parcel because he hasn't had enough field time to really make any headway as a player in the NFL. But also, you got to remember who he's competing against during the preseason. It should look better than this, and it just doesn't. They missed so bad on Trey Lance, and there's nothing they can do. Shanahan and Lynch, man, the fact that they still have their jobs, it only speaks to the fact of how well everything else has gone for them, because most GM head coach combos get fired for a mistake that bad. Just look at what's happened in Arizona, for example.
I would agree with you, except they hit on the 7th rounder. Like, that's the quarterback who they ended up getting in that draft who worked out beautifully. So it's like you can be judged on your 1st round pick. You could also be judged on your 7th round pick. And if you got that much value out of a 7th round pick, there's something to that. Now, the Trey Lance thing, they weren't drafting him because of the player he was. They were drafting him because of the player he could be, because there's no tape on him in college. He played 1 year at North Dakota State, right? Like, there's nothing that you could really go off of. But they were drafting him.
But whose fault is that?
That's absolutely their fault. But they were drafting him because of the potential that he could have. Now, it's their fault for not developing it well enough. Is it their fault that he got injured 2 plays into a game? Like, I don't really know where you go from here. I also don't think we can put a ton of credibility on one preseason game this year.
Well, I mean, but it's not just one preseason game. This guy has been with the organization for 3 years now, or starting his 3rd season. He hasn't contributed in a meaningful way yet. He's untradeable because nobody can trust that he can stay healthy or that he can actually play at this level. My point is, like, Kyler Murray has been to the Pro Bowl, and Kingsbury and Keim, or not Steve Keim. No, yeah, Steve Keim, the general manager there, both got fired.
Yeah, but the Arizona Cardinals haven't made it past the 1st round of the playoffs in a long time.
I know. And that's the reason why they're fired. But my point is, normally the losing comes with the missing on the quarterback. They got very lucky that Jimmy Garoppolo could play well enough to facilitate this offense in the meantime, because if it weren't for Jimmy G, and then, by the way, Brock Purdy, and getting lucky, frankly, with the 7th rounder, last pick overall, this could have been an absolute disaster for Lynch and Shanahan.
But it wasn't.
Look at the picture I posted in the grid there at 6:30.
Yeah, what do you got?
That guy right there, Aiden O'Connell, backup quarterback for the Raiders. That guy in that photo beat the 49ers 34-7.
Preseason. You can't look at scores in preseason. You can
15
look at
for
Trey Lance and
18.
be like, oh, Trey Lance sucked. And we can say that, and that's fair.
Well,
But I
okay.
don't think you can look at any sort of scores in the preseason.
Also, I think Aiden O'Connell might be your long lost brother.
No.
Yeah, I was going to say that
Yeah.
looks like one of the high school program pictures they used for Ben Fletcher at Merced High.
Golden Valley, you
Oh,
jerks.
right,
Merced
right.
High were the Bears.
Oh,
We
yeah, the
hate
Golden
them.
Bears. Yeah.
Golden Bears.
The
Golden-
Valley Cougars.
the Golden-
Golden
High
Merced Bears.
Golden said Bears. That's right. You nailed it.
Oh, it's
Oh,
good.
man.
It's real good. Aaron Rodgers, he did not play, but Zach Wilson's mom was at the game again.
Thank goodness.
So
Was she asking about MFers on planes at any point?
No?
I don't think so. She was giving people some stern looks, though.
I
She
do
didn't like the
me
smack
some
talk.
Mrs. Wilson.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
She's.
Zacky's mom has
got it going on.
She's all that
Did you
one.
guys see Russell Wilson?
Oh, he's terrible.
He's awful.
He's still broken.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
Broken forever.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's wild to watch what's happened. Look, he went in there with the starters for 4 series, and you could tell Sean Payton was like, all right, I know I said that we were going to pull him after 3 series, but we have got to finish with a successful offensive series. Like, there's no way we can finish now because the media, the press is going to be like, yeah, I guess it takes more than one preseason game to get those 20 dirty hands off of Russell Wilson. Pate?
I mean, they got decisions to make in Denver. Like, you just brought in Sean Payton. Like, is there a chance that Russell Wilson is no longer a viable starter in this league?
Not for a year.
I say they trade for Trey Lance.
Yeah, maybe.
Get
They
Aiden
probably get him on the
O'Connell.
cheap.
Aiden O'Connell just is ripping up defenses.
What about Nathan Rourke?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I mean, that dude's stock skyrocketed.
Nathan O'Connell. The guy looks like, he looks like somebody on To Catch a Predator, like, where it's just like, are you hot guy 6969? And did you say, yeah, I'll bring Kool-Aid?
Turns
my
out
favorite.
Aiden does like chocolate chip cookie.
Like, the best part about the NFL preseason is you get to see people like Nathan O'Connell or Nathan Rourke, and then you never hear about them again for the rest of the year.
No, we will see you in the USFL. We can't wait to see you this spring. All right. If you can't wait to see Pantera or Duran Duran or Darius Rucker, you're not going to have to wait till the spring. You can just keep listening to this show. We're going to have tickets to give away. So we're going to run over and see those shows in town sometime soon, or at least you are. But while you're running, what I want you to do is go ahead and slip some of those arch supports from the Good Feet store into your shoes first. I don't want you to wake up with back pain, especially if you're going to be on your feet at a concert, one that we've sent you to over here at Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. If you got knee pain, ankle pain, foot pain, back pain, hip pain, any of your load-bearing joints, if you walk around every single day and you're like, yeah, well, that's just my bad knee, stop doing that. Go to the Good Feet store and get yourselves a free fitting, a free test walk. You try before you buy. You walk out the same day with arch supports. They'll call you a week later to make sure they fit perfectly. They've got 200 locations plus all around the United States and overseas. They've been doing this for 30 years. My friends at the Good Feet store can get you right now. So head over to the Good Feet store near you or goodfeet.com. Okay, coming up next, a wardrobe change needed in golf. That's next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
The PGA has a wardrobe malfunction, and we get it. I mean, we've been there. We'll talk about it next.
So those Duran tickets, Darius Rucker tickets, we got those coming back up, or I should say coming up. Pantera tickets also coming up later in the show. We've got 3 different pairs of concert tickets, so keep listening for your opportunity to win those. All of that coming up starting in the 7 o'clock hour. But we got to get to this story really quick before we talk golf. Did you guys see this Chargers player, the CJ Okoye?
Oh, it was so cool, man.
This is an unbelievable story. So CJ Okoye is a name that very few people know, and you probably won't know it after today, but he got a sack in not just his first ever NFL game in the preseason game between the Rams and the Chargers on Saturday, but it was his first organized football game in his life. He got to the NFL through the NFL's International Pathway Program, which just debuted. They had their combine in London. He attended, I think, USF's Pro Day. He got signed as an undrafted free agent with the Chargers. And in his first game of his life, he was able to sack the quarterback for the Rams.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's just nuts.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And the sideline just erupted. They were so excited about it. Yeah, I mean, it was just cool. It was like watching a real life Rudy.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. It was absolutely awesome. I love it. I think the fans will love it if this guy makes the team. I don't know if he will, but it's just a feel-good story there, and a lot of work being done overseas to spread football. Obviously, the borders of the NFL going far and wide. But we promised it. We teased it. We got to pay it off. Ben, so when you're on the golf course, I would describe you as a couple of things. One, you can play. But I would also say that you sweat. You sweat a great deal while you're out there.
That's all fair.
Yeah.
Except for the part that I can play. I've actually gotten worse at golf. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I think it's because of us.
Yep, maybe. Or the booze. Could be a little bit of everything. But no, so the FedEx Cup Championship is going on right now. And like once the majors end, the golf season for a lot of people is over. But this is like where the big money is made in golf for at least not live golfers. But Lucas Glover, he won last week at the Wyndham to get into the FedEx Cup playoffs, and then he wins the first round of it. So he's setting himself up really nicely. But Lucas Glover, while he was on his way to winning the tournament, it was in Tennessee. It was very hot, very humid. He decided to wear khaki pants, and it looked like he backwards peed himself, and it was just sweat.
Backwards beat himself.
Look, swamp ass is a thing. All right.
It wasn't just his ass though. It was like
Oh, it was
all
everything.
around. I mean, like it was hugging the cheeks. It was around the hips.
Yeah,
I
the-
get it, man.
the-
Dude, I've had that similar things. I just don't wear khakis.
The problem is, though, when you looked at Lucas Glover, everywhere else on his body was dry except for just below the waistline, and it was weird. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Like when they had close-ups, like you could see he was perspiring, like little beads of sweat building up under the eyes and on the brow and stuff like that. But it was just, I mean, it was a waterfall coming out the butt cheeks.
It
I
was bad.
don't really get it.
Look, I don't want to shame him because I'm the exact same way. If I was wearing
yeah.
those pants, you would see the same thing on the golf course. But you don't
Yeah,
wear those pants.
But I
don't do
mean,
it.
why was he the only one?
He wasn't, because everyone else was wearing either the dry fit black pants where you can't see anything, right? The
Mm.
golf pants that are like
Mm.
in the trend now.
Mm-hmm.
He was wearing khakis. That's a
Yeah.
rookie mistake, and he's nothing a rookie. He's old. Lucas should know better.
Dude, I would have done, I mean, anything besides, I mean, I would have found like a pool to jump in. So it just changed the color of the pants to just wet, like just like, you know what I mean? Like, because if you look at, okay, everybody made a big deal of this. There were all these close-up images of Lucas Glover's butt going around social media. The pockets, that was the thing about it, is everything was wet except for the back pockets, which somehow wicked away
Because
the
they don't
sweat.
touch the butt directly, right? There's a layer of clothing underneath. But again, I'm not shaming sweaters. I'm a sweater, big time. If you look at my armpits right now, I'm probably sweating. How am I doing, Trav?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty wet there,
Yeah,
especially
okay.
that left arm.
Look,
is it
lefty
sweatier on the
sweats
left?
more. It always has.
Wow,
I don't know
hang
why.
on, show the
That's
camera.
really
Show it.
weird.
I need to see it. I can show.
That's
I-
really weird.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Look,
there it is. Yeah.
People sweat, all right? It's something that everyone does. I don't care if you're a guy, if you're a girl, if your name is Travis, if your name is Rich, if your name is Fletch, you sweat.
Yeah.
Some of us sweat more than others.
I'm
and
currently not sweating.
that's because you're more normal than me, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm not going to shame Lucas. Look, Tiger Woods, one of the greatest golfers ever, he sweat a ton during his career. He would bring like different shirts to every single round of golf he played that looked exactly the same so he could change them out. I'm not sweat shaming anyone.
That's okay. That, you know what, you that I thought we could have fun. I didn't realize we strike a chord. This is like anytime we say anything negative about
Hit
the
a nerve.
Niners. We found two play. It's like a no touch zone with the Niners, and now with Lucas Glover's ass sweat.
It was really bad.
Speaking of striking a nerve, yeah, last night at the Post Malone concert, my son Caleb tried to talk smack to you about basketball, and then you went silent. Text line went silent.
Yeah. I can't
Well,
believe it.
If Caleb wants to catch these hands,
Oh my gosh. Did you just challenge Travis's son to a fist fight?
maybe
What the hell?
go
is
buy some more
happening?
baseball cards, Caleb.
We have so much show to get to. And before the end of the day, Ben may get beat up by Caleb Dale.
Wow, it's
Unbelievable.
incredible,
right.
incredible.
We got to take a look into our QB crystal ball coming up next, see what's going on in the NFL preseason. Also, a question we need answers to. Have you given up on the Padres? Yes or no? Give us an answer why. 70470. Start your text with team. We'd love to hear from you. Also, that's Bunkman for concert tickets. All that coming up on the other side. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on a Monday.
This update is presented by AutoZone. Padres, they dropped 2 out of 3 to the D-backs over the weekend. Now 5.5 games out of that final playoff spot in the National League. 44 games left to go in the year. Padres do get a 10-game homestand starting today with the 3-game series against the Orioles. NL West yesterday, Giants beat the Rangers 3-2. Dodgers took down the Rockies 8-3. Dodgers have now won 8 straight games. NFL, couple of preseason games yesterday. The Las Vegas Raiders beat the 49ers 34-7. Saints beat the Chiefs 26-24. And in golf, Lucas Glover, he wins the FedEx Opening Tournament at TPC Southwind. It was hot, it was humid, it was sweaty out there in Tennessee. Glover, along with the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings, will compete in the BMW Championship next week at Olympia Fields in Illinois. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Yeah! Woo! Oh, happy Monday to those who celebrate.
Oh,
It's
we
Big
got the
Rich
coveted
TV
road
Fletch.
scream.
Oh, the road scream.
Oh
that
my
was
gosh,
great.
it's
Good
so
morning,
much easier
Annie.
to-
Good morning, kids.
Oh,
Good morning,
sorry.
Annie's parents.
I now feel like I have to whisper because, yeah, our show is together, but we are apart. Travis and Ben are in studio. I'm up in LA visiting family. And so I just shouted like that. I'm pretty sure there are people in this place I'm at. This is not going to end well for me.
Everything's fine.
I
It's
think-
fine.
Can you imagine what the neighbors are thinking right now?
I mean, there's probably a 911 call in, but that's okay.
Oh my gosh, you just reminded me. So this morning I'm at, oh my dude.
Because of a
Wait, the
911
Yes.
call?
Okay, hang on.
Okay.
So this morning I wake up and I wake up at 4. I drive straight over to my mother-in-law's office. That's where I'm broadcasting from because she's got the whole setup, Wi-Fi and all this stuff. And so I sit down, or excuse me, I open up the door, the front door of the office, and I'm just like I've done before because I've done the show from here before. Yeah, sit down at the desk, get things set up. Well, this time the alarm was set. So the security alarm is going off, and I had to go through my phone. I'm like scrolling through past emails and text messages trying to find the code. I couldn't find it. The police ended up on the phone with me. They're like, "Hey, who is this?" And like I had the secret password, so I'm just shouting it at them, and they're like, "Okay, goodbye." And so but the alarm is still going off. Like it's just. So then I had to call my poor mother-in-law. I call her. It is some part of 4:20 in the morning. 4:30 maybe. She's just like, "Hello." I'm like, "Hey, the alarm at your office is going off currently. How the hell do I turn this off? I am so sorry for waking you." And I'm pretty sure she did it while she was asleep. I was able to get the thing disarmed. Anyways, that's how my morning started over
That's
here.
fantastic. I hope the code word is something really weird too, like passion fruit shake weight.
Things can
Vanilla
always be worse.
Raven. I say Vanilla Raven.
Did you guys see that video I sent you on Twitter? I sent it this morning. It was of a house in Philadelphia, I want to say, or
Yeah.
maybe in Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
that exploded. And they
Yeah.
have no idea why, but it's like a Ring doorbell camera that's shooting across the street, and you can see the house that explodes. And it literally looks like a nuke went off in the house.
Meth
Oh
lab.
my gosh. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. This is absolutely absurd.
Like it gets obliterated.
Meth lab.
yeah,
what you
oh,
think it
good
is?
call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what we know it is?
No, that's what it looks like to me. What else is gonna make that thing blow up like that? Listen,
Okay.
I know my meth
I
labs.
don't know. If you watch the show 24, stuff happens every once in a while.
Hang on.
We just need to call Jack Bauer.
Okay, I've watched it several times now. My favorite part of watching this is if replay it again. So the blast occurs, and it is like probably I don't know 150 yards away from the front door of this porch. All of a sudden you see this welcome home sign fall and topple over in front of the Ring cam on their porch here.
Yeah, we don't know if it made it. Somebody may have to head back to Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, that's definitely the TJ Maxx Home Goods special right there.
Yeah, what's crazy is, I mean, if you watch to the end of the video as the smoke starts to clear, there's not a house there anymore.
No,
Wait a
it's
second.
completely obliterated. I'm
I didn't-
reposting it from at Big Rich TD Fletch on X or Twitter or whatever you want to call it.
There was just a crater.
Yeah, there's like literally someone's like, wait, you weren't supposed to do that much damage for insurance. Come on.
Yeah. You know what I imagine? Like I imagine like these people are just like, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna rebuild the house, but we're gonna do something cool for the neighbors before. We're just like, so you go door to door. It's like, listen, we just bought that house over there on Cranston Street, but we're gonna do demo, but we're gonna blow it up. So if the kids want to watch, like we're gonna do something special. And then
If that is a meth lab, that is the nicest meth lab house of all time. 'Cause that's in a pretty nice suburban area.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. See Walter White for details. As I'm laughing at this, though, I just dawned on me that what if there's people inside?
There might have
point.
been.
Yeah.
Solid point.
So,
yeah.
whoops, sorry about that.
Thoughts and prayers. Let's switch gears here. Talk a little NFL. We're sick bastards.
Yes,
Sorry.
Yes, we are. Yeah. No listeners in Pennsylvania, though, so we won't worry about it.
Yeah.
Chicago, on the other hand.
Chicago. No, that's a serious deal.
If that happened in Illinois, we'd be doing a show remote from the disaster because we're huge.
We're
in
live.
Chicago.
We're live from the crater.
We're doing a live remote from the crater. Check us out at YouTube. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch will be interviewing.
Speaking of live remotes, as right before we get to the NFL here, we're 17 days away from an anniversary. Are we doing anything?
Yeah, we have to. It's our God-given responsibility.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think we're supposed to talk about it, but yeah, there's something being planned.
Oh, but okay. It is being planned. That
Yeah.
hasn't fallen off the wayside yet.
No, it is being planned.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that that was still happening, and I thought we should do it live on air.
Oh, you're damn right we should.
We'll do a little show prep discussion live on air.
I don't think all the I's have been dotted. I don't think all the T's have been crossed.
How
but I
about the
know
lowercase J's?
the lowercase J's have been dotted.
Okay,
Just
great.
the I's and the T's are still having issues.
Those lowercase j's, we always forget about those, but they need dots too.
1,000,000%.
All right. So yeah, speaking of the NFL preseason, we got to this a little bit earlier on, and we were focusing on a couple of teams, but let's focus a little bit further on the rookie quarterback class, or I shouldn't even say the rookies, because there's a lot of young quarterbacks who are going to be counted on in a big way this upcoming season. Jordan Love among them.
Who looked really good.
What's that? Yeah.
Jordan Love, he did. He looked really good in his. He didn't get a ton of time, but he threw a nice touchdown pass that was kind of a toe tapper for the receiver, which was impressive. Bryce Young played a little bit for the Panthers. Now he is the calmest quarterback in the pocket I think I've ever seen. Like sometimes he probably needs a little more urgency because he is a statue, man. When he drops back, it's like a 2-step drop. It's not 3, it's not 6, and he just stands there until he finds his spot.
He got hit a lot.
He got hit a lot, but I mean, I don't know if you want to necessarily be that calm and poised, especially when Bryce Young can move a little bit. Like we saw him move quite a bit in college. I wonder if he's just working on something or if that's how he is.
I wouldn't describe his game as like, he's not like a dual threat quarterback. He's not a movement guy. He's a pocket passer. He just has to see the rush better. I mean, you can't get hit like that and stay alive as an NFL quarterback. I mean, you're just not going to last an entire season, especially when you're slight framed. Like that was one of the big concerns coming out of Alabama. And when you compared him to CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson, these guys are just built up. They look like they could handle more abuse. So it's definitely something that you're going to want Bryce Young to get a handle on at some point really quick, because I think he's going to be the day one starter for the Carolina Panthers. And if they can help it, he's going to be there through 17 games and, really hit the ground running here with this team in a relatively winnable NFC South.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the exact same way. I thought that I agree with Ben as well. He looked pretty good while he was standing. But he got hit a lot, and you're right. He has to figure out a way to stop that, even if that's a little bit, I don't know, beefier offensive line. I don't know what you got to do, but
just bizarre. Like you don't see too many quarterbacks this day and age do that little of a drop back and stand like just not even caring about the rush. Now, CJ Stroud, I thought.
Well, hang on. I want to ask you, what do you think the season projects like? I mean, we've seen one single game, and I know it's like impossible to tell what it's going to look like for Bryce Young. But before we move off of him, I mean, let's just put it this way. If we're going to be those armchair analysts who will give their proclamation for the remainder of the season based on one preseason start, what would you say the future looks like for Bryce Young?
Now, wide receivers for Bryce Young this year. Adam Thielen comes over after he left with the Vikings, and then it's Terrence Marshall Jr., Shi Smith, CJ Saunders, DJ Chalk Jr., Laviska Shenault, Javon Wims, and Gary Jennings. Like, there's not a whole lot of names there that you can latch onto. Laviska Shenault is young and he's a stud, and like he projects out to have a pretty good season. Adam Thielen is that old reliable. I thought that was a great pickup by the Carolina Panthers, because talk about a great route runner, someone who's always kind of open. It's Adam Thielen, and he never drops a pass. But I think it's a struggle this year because he just doesn't have that much in terms of offensive weapons. Now, Miles Sanders comes over from Philly. Chuba Hubbard, who was Christian McCaffrey's backup last season, but he never could stay healthy. Like, they don't have the weapons that I would want with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think he takes the Panthers to 6 or 7 wins. I think that's where the season ends up. But
is that a positive? Is that a good thing?
Well, I mean, I guess it's better than last year.
Yeah.
If we're basing it off of just one game's worth of action, look, I mean, you gotta hang in the pocket to take the hits, right? He didn't seem shy to deliver the football. It wasn't great. But what I will say is I actually disagree a little bit about the weapons. I think that they did some good things this offseason, building up some pieces around him. It's an incomplete puzzle. We know that. It's a process building a team, but they're in the beginning stages. And I have a lot of trust in Frank Reich, his head coach. He was my offensive coordinator when I played for the Chargers out here. I think a lot of Frank Reich as a coach. He did a great job in Indianapolis. He shouldn't have been fired in Indy. So Carolina Panthers have a good one. Yeah, let's move on to CJ Stroud and talk about the day that he had. I mean, you look at him and you think to yourself, well, that's a big guy. He came out of a great school with tons of weapons. Now he has none with the Texans. He didn't make a good impression, though. That interception to Jalen Mills on the 3rd and long pass, I mean, it looked like he was throwing it directly to the defense, and he did not play very much.
Well, he only got 5 pass attempts, and one of them was an interception. I think he went 2 for 5.
2 for 4
with an interception. So I don't think we got to see enough of him. What we did see, though, I would say it automatically looked a little too big for him. And I don't know if that's because he's playing on the Houston Texans and has nobody around him. But that is going to be a project, man. The Houston Texans are going to be lucky to get 2 or 3, 4 wins.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I mean, that was not a good first impression, although it was a very small sample size. I mean, I'm interested to see what next week looks like. Once you start stringing together some of these games, then you can, I guess, get a better feel of what the season's going to look like. But after that performance, I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be great.
Yeah, well, the Texans, kind of going back to what Ben, you said about the Panthers, is how I feel about the Texans. Like, they've got nothing. Like, who is he throwing the football to? I mean, CJ Stroud, when we talk about drafting a rookie quarterback, and obviously when you're taken at the top of the draft, you're usually going to a team that's pretty pitiful, and you're in for a couple of tough years. I mean, that's CJ Stroud. And then, oh, by the way, like when he went on the bench and Davis Mills comes in, Davis Mills looked great.
Yep.
Like, he looked so much better.
And Davis Mills has a little bit of that dog in him, man. And he's been the starter there for the last couple years, in and out. But Davis Mills has always kind of been better than everyone thought he should be, and been a little bit better than they thought the Texans should be when Davis Mills is in there. So I don't know. Can CJ Stroud even hang on to that job?
Well, I don't think. And yeah, projecting forward, like, I don't think he's going to start a full season. It's very possible that Davis Mills is either going to have to come in to spell him at some point, or he's not going to start the regular season if things keep going sideways during the preseason. We'll see how it goes. You mentioned earlier Jordan Love looked good. He did. Another young quarterback that a team's going to have to depend on in a big way is Green Bay Packers starting quarterback Jordan Love after the Aaron Rodgers years. I look at Love as a rookie almost, because it kind of reminds me, even though he's entering year 3 3, I believe. It reminds me of Patrick Mahomes' year 2. Patrick Mahomes' second year in the NFL was really kind of his rookie year because he barely played his first year. Well, Jordan Love barely played his first 2 years. So now here we go for the first go around. And at least in the preseason, it looked okay.
Dude,
Yeah.
if the Packers get this one right too, I mean, other GMs, other organizations should just give up because they will have gone from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. And if they get another 10-year starter out of Jordan Love, like what is everyone else doing wrong outside of the Steelers?
Yeah.
Right. No, I thought he looked great. If this is a rookie season, if you're taking it at that, he looked poised. He looked like a leader. I'm all in on Jordan Love.
We saw him torch fools in college. Like, we know that he is a good football player. I'm so curious to see what it looks like this year. In fact,
Yeah.
I have a lot invested in Jordan Love. Do not fail me.
What on your dynasty team?
Oh,
Apparently.
there's a lot.
Okay,
There's
all
a
right.
lot invested in Jordan Love.
I gave up so many rounds, so many draft picks.
We talked a little bit about Trey Lance earlier on, so we'll skip over Trey.
Anthony Richardson, though, that's the interesting one to me because there's so much drama surrounding him. Like, there's too much drama for a rookie quarterback to be coming into with the Colts.
Jonathan Taylor, the whole protracted
Zach Moss broke his arm.
Mhm.
Jonathan Taylor, we don't know if he's going to play at all this year.
Yeah.
They still don't have a ton of wide receivers. The Quentin Nelson stuff, he's very loud and very out there, although also extremely talented. Like, that is not a situation I envy of having a rookie quarterback with all that drama surrounding them.
Yeah, he looked pretty good. I thought he looked decent.
Super athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, everything would tell you he should be a good quarterback in the NFL. That is not a good situation. And situations make quarterbacks, especially when they're young.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I will say is, even though it was an interception, the end of the stat line probably looks worse than it actually was because Alec Pierce couldn't haul that ball in with that deep touchdown pass that got taken off the board. Like, there were a couple of plays where it wasn't his fault that things went sideways. I'm not going to overlook the interception, but I'm very intrigued about Anthony Richardson because I think he could end up being one of those quarterbacks who might be able to figure some things out this preseason. And the Colts, like you mentioned, if they do get the Jonathan Taylor stuff figured out, which is a big if, but if they do, he's really capable out of that backfield. If this offensive line can protect Anthony Richardson better than they could protect Matt Ryan last year, I mean, all of a sudden you have a 1-2 punch out of that backfield from a run standpoint that is pretty devastating. And if any of these receivers can step up for him, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be a big year for the Colts, but it could be a big bounce back year for the Colts.
Michael Pittman is supposed to be really good.
Yes.
But he's been supposed to be really good his entire NFL career. And we just haven't seen it yet. Is this year 3 for Michael Pittman or year 4?
Year 4, I think.
So we just haven't seen it yet. But again, all the intangibles are there. Like, he's big, he's strong, he can catch everything, he can run all the routes. But we just haven't seen any sort of breakout from him. So if he can break out and that becomes a good combination with Richardson and Pittman, like, maybe you see something better for the Colts. But right now, with their depth chart at wide receiver, with uncertainty at running back, and then offensive line being noisy, which I think offensive line should be pretty quiet and boring. That's when you know you got a good one. Then I don't know where they go from here. And organization that's been in drama since Phillip Rivers left.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we got to
And
step
a drunk
aside.
for an owner.
Yeah. Oh,
or pill
Ursa.
popper. We don't know what Jim Irsay's on.
Well, he's an orca lover. We do know that. That's saving the whales. All right. We need to give out our first pair of concert tickets. We don't know which ones we're giving away yet. So 844-570-1360, 844-570-1360. Call in right now. We're going to give you your choice. Whether you want to go see Duran Duran, Pantera, or Darius Rucker, it's up to you. You just have to win. That's Bunkman, and that's coming up next.
This update is presented by AutoZone. Padres dropped 2 out of 3 to the D-backs over the weekend. Now Padres are 5.5 games out of that final playoff spot in the National League. 44 games left to go in the season. Padres do get a 10-game homestand starting today with a 3-game series against the Orioles. NL West yesterday, Giants beat the Rangers 3-2. Dodgers take down the Rockies 8-3. NFL, couple of preseason games yesterday as the Las Vegas Raiders beat the 49ers 34-7. Saints beat the Chiefs 26-24. And in golf, Lucas Glover wins the FedEx Cup opening tournament at TPC Southwind in the hot and humid Tennessee weather. Glover, along with the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings, are going to compete at the BMW Championship next week at the North Course of Olympia Fields in Illinois. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
It's Big Rich Sheedy and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. Whew. Rolling along here. Rich out in LA. So we're Richless in studio, but not Richless with the show. He's here in spirit, in our hearts, and live.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's there.
Yeah.
He's there. I was a little nervous because I know we're doing, some technical things, jumping back and forth. And I'm like, it sounds silent, but I'm going to just throw it out there and see if Rich is there. And you were. You were always there for me.
I'll never let you fall. I am the wind beneath your wings.
That's right. Man, we got tickets to give away. We got a whole bunch of tickets here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's Monday, and we play this little game, That's Bunkman. And we have a contestant on the line, which I don't know the name of.
I think it's Sean.
Okay. All right. Sean, how are you, man?
How's it going?
Good. Rich, can you hear Sean okay?
Oh, yeah, I got Sean in my ears. I thought, all right, so Sean, we play That's Bunkman every single Monday. I'm not sure if you ever listened to the show or if this is your first time, but for anybody who's their first time, this is the way it goes. We're going to be giving you stories about our lives, stories that you have to decide whether they're true or they're Bunkman. And if you get the best of 5 correct, that just means 3 out of 5 correct. You get to choose between Darius Rucker, Duran Duran, or Pantera tickets, which, by the way, we didn't mention this before, but that is the most eclectic group of tickets I've ever heard of in my life. But are you ready to play today, Sean?
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready.
What would you like to play for, Sean? Which pair of tickets?
Darius Rucker.
Okay. Darius Rucker. Okay. There we go. Yeah. Darius Rucker on the line. He'll be at Gallagher Square August 25th. You want to buy tickets, go to Ticketmaster.com, but Sean's going to try to win them. And who wants to go first on That's Bunkman?
Let me start Sean off here with this little story from back when I was 9 years old, Sean. Okay. I was asked if I wanted to take a tour of the cockpit on a flight, relatively short flight from New York to Philadelphia. And during the flight, there was such tremendous and sudden turbulence that all of a sudden the flight attendant who was taking me into the cockpit had to strap me on her lap in a jump seat. And I didn't know if the plane was going to make it. Like, we were being jostled around a lot. The good news is she was super, super duper hot, and I enjoyed myself immensely. Is that true, or is that bunk, man?
I'm going to say that's Bunkman.
Wow, Sean, that is 100% correct.
Okay.
He starts the game 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0. There you go. Nice start there, Sean.
I wish that was true.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad that didn't actually occur, Rich.
Yeah, I'm sitting here fantasizing about it as I was making it up.
If only there was a marketing executive that was crazy on a plane that you could. Well, here you go. Here's number 2 for you,
sit
Sean.
on her lap too.
Right. When I was 17, Sean, I walked into a Burger King. I walked behind the counter. I grabbed an apron and I just started filling up fries, putting them in bags, and then literally passing them to customers. And no one said a word to me for like 10 minutes plus. But when they did, the manager said, "You got to get out of here and you are banned from this location for life. Never come back in." Is that a true story, or is that Bunkman?
How old were you again?
I was 17.
True. All right, that's true.
You nailed it. Wow.
He's
What the heck?
2 for 2.
Man, I was trying to put a lot of details in there so it sounded bunk, and that is true. Yeah, I was with my buddies, and they said, "You should just go back there and start filling up fries." And I went, "Okay."
Okay, so Sean, he's 2-0. I mean, if he answers a single question correctly, he's going to go see Darius Rucker. So, Ben, I mean, you're up. Can you fool Sean?
And maybe. Here we go, Sean. So this past weekend, Kendall and I went wine tasting, and we were up in Temecula. We did a little bus tour. I got a little too sauced and actually ended up taking a nap in the middle of a row of grapes at one of the vineyards we were at. Is that true, or is that bunk, man?
That's bunk.
I think we have a winner. Wow. Sean,
That is definitely something I would do.
3 down. Yeah. You know what? In fact, Sarah, the last time she went on one of those wine tasting tours, may have had a little incident out in the vineyard. Had to walk out in the grapes and make a little room.
Like vomit?
Yeah. She was super sick. I got a phone call. I had to come get her.
No way.
Yeah, she was sleeping in the limo.
Well, Sean, hopefully you're sleeping in the limo after the Darius Rucker show at Gallagher Square. This is going to be August 25th. More information and tickets available at Ticketmaster.com, but Sean's not going to need it. He's our winner today, so he won the first pair of tickets on the show. Unbelievable. Sean, how do you feel, man?
I feel good. I'm not gonna lie, you guys need to work on your stories. Those are kind of obvious.
Wow, he's shutting us down.
Where would you say we went wrong, Sean?
Yeah.
Where would you say we went wrong?
Sean's on hold. He's
Oh,
out.
wow. Well, we had to get information from him.
Woo!
Man.
We should pump him for information. Maybe it's like the CIA. You know how sometimes, like, remember Catch Me If You Can? Frank Abagnale, he was writing all those bad checks, and the FBI was chasing him. And now Frank Abagnale Jr., he works for the FBI.
Yes.
Like, we should have Sean write that's Bunkman for us.
That is absolutely a perfect idea.
Get
We
his
bring him
information.
on board.
We need to get him in.
God,
the game.
we do. We do.
What
we
a
do.
mistake. What a mistake. Actually, I had one more that's Bunkman. I don't know. Did I write if it's true or false? No, I'll save it for next week because I already spilled the beans on the rundown. I already spilled the beans. I was gonna ask you guys if it was true or false what my next one was.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, save it. Save it for next week for sure. All right, good.
Hey,
Good.
one last quarterback that I wanted to get to was Will Levis. But before we do that, we forgot to talk about the Padres in the least bit in the 7:00 hour, and we should do a little bit of that right now. Here's what I want to ask our listening audience. Have you given up on them yet? Have you given up on the Padres? Yes or no? And let's get an answer to the question. Why do you feel the way you feel? Like, if you have given up on them, what's the reason? Like, what's the overarching reason you've given up on them? And if not, give us that reason too. 70470. Start your message with team if you want to weigh in there. What do you guys feel? Like, I mean, is there a feeling of like, yeah, hope is lost and we're out of it? I'm done with the Padres, or are you still hanging on to hope?
Well, you know what's funny is my head wants to say that. My head wants to look at this and go, you know what? I mean, this is done. They have given up. They've thrown in the towel. Quotes from was it Bob Melvin that did the quote of that was a hard loss?
He said it was the toughest one of the year.
Okay, that toughest loss of the year. To me, that feels like they know. I mean, this is kind of the nail in the coffin. But my heart goes, but there's still a chance. There's still a chance that everybody above them is worse. I mean, look, I haven't given up just because mathematically they're not out. Even though it's difficult to wrap my head around, and this is just honestly a battle of who can suck the least.
Yeah. You know, you look at, you know, Scott Barlow or any of the players individually who's going to, you know, get handed the praise or the guilt for failures. You know, whichever side of the docket you want to look at. You hear what Melvin says post-game, to your point, Travis. He says things like, look, it's not just one or two guys. It's all of us. It's all 26 of us. But the thing about it is it does sometimes come down to one or two guys just not making the plays when they're there. Like, that is what sports are inherently. That's the reason why certain positions get paid so much more money than others. Like, quarterbacks in the NFL are starting pitchers, or, you know, great sluggers in Major League Baseball. Like, there are certain players who are expected to produce more than others. And I think that's the biggest problem with the Padres is the expectations were that all these players were going to have fabulous years, just like their stats suggest they would. And in the clutch, many of them haven't. And so, look, yeah, I think I'm with you. I'm not out on this team yet, but I can understand anybody who is. Like, let's put it this way. Like, if I was having a conversation today at a car wash or at a bar, or, you know, if I'm sitting down at a restaurant and my server came over and wanted to talk a little Padres because he saw me wearing a Padres hat or something, it was just like, I'm done watching them. Like, I would get it. I would totally understand it because this team just constantly breaks your heart over and over again.
Yeah, so next 10 games I think are crucial for the whole season. All 10 of them are at home. I'm really curious to see. I think it'll be full, but I'm curious to see how the fans are acting, because if there was a time in the season where you're fed up and you're ready to boo, it's probably right now. I don't know if that would be my approach, but I could totally understand fans doing that. So these next 10 games at home will tell you the whole season. That'll decide whether or not they're going to push for the end or whether they're done. And I think as of what we've seen over the last few weeks, the entire National League is sucking, but the Padres are also sucking. So they had this beautiful window after the trade deadline to really make up some games, and they could have taken advantage of that. They didn't. And what did we say at the trade deadline when they did not move Josh Hader, Blake Snell? We said, all right, AJ, if you're going all in, it better work. So far, it hasn't, but there's still time. You can't give up on them yet because there's still time, and they're only 5.5 games out. Now, 5.5 games out, the longer this goes, is going to sound worse and worse. So if you're gonna keep losing like the rest of the National League is doing and staying at this, like, just barely in punching distance but not quite there, then yeah, I'm done too. Like, I don't, if you don't care, I don't care. At Padres.
That is perfectly stated. Let's hear from everybody out there. 70470. Start your message with team. Have you given up on the Padres? And give us your reasons why. We'd love to hear that. 70470. Start your message with team. Coming up next, it's either a cage fight or nothing at all. Next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk. We got an update coming up next. Drink responsibly.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Go long, tease nuts.
Tease nuts. We had a bunch of those long balls on the golf course last Thursday. We took out one of our listeners, Aaron, who won a free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. So if you want to win a free round of golf, it's quite simple. You go to sportssd.com. You click on prizes and contests or promotions and contests. You click on free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Sign up there. Your name gets put in a hopper for an opportunity to come out and play around with us. We went to Carlton Oaks this past time. We're going to be going just a tour of other golf courses around the county. We're going to do it every single month. So just keep listening for that. Those opportunities coming up next.
Go long, tease nuts. When I was in the pool this weekend at Temecula on our wine tasting tour, I got in and I was wearing my long ball hat, of course. And one of the dudes was like, "Oh, long ball? That stuff's awesome." And I was like, "Hell yeah, it's awesome." And I gave him my hat because I was drunk.
Sweet. Right on. Right on.
And I
He got a
gave him
super sweaty hat.
No, it wasn't. It was brand new, actually. That was the first time I had worn that hat.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Was he excited?
Oh, he was pumped.
Good. Yeah. It's a good hat. It's a really good hat. Actually, I do like their hats. They are pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah. No, you know what? The logo, everything they did, all the marketing they did, I think is beyond awesome. I love it.
Do you guys really believe that this Mark Zuckerberg Elon Musk fight is going to happen? Because
The
all
more
of a
I hear
sudden-
about them, the more I think they're both robots.
Yeah, although I will say this, what's interesting, and I never thought I would ever put this sentence together in my entire life. Like, I think I'm siding here with Mark Zuckerberg. Like, I don't think Elon is taking this fight seriously enough.
I thought it was going to be in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Like, aren't they gladiators?
That was Friday's. What do we call it? It's not a tweet. What do we call it? Post? I don't know.
Post
Okay.
on X.
Okay, so Friday's post on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, Elon Musk throws out that, okay, the fight's going down and it's going to be in ancient Rome, and everything that you see in the camera shot will be ancient Rome, nothing modern. And apparently he didn't talk to Zuck about it at all. It's like, this is how it's going to happen. Meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg's at home going, wait, so we are fighting. I guess I'll book a flight.
Yeah. So Mark Zuckerberg wrote on Threads I think we can. I love this. Like, so all of a sudden, Mark Zuckerberg has the Twitter of Meta or Facebook called Threads. Elon has renamed Twitter X. So Elon's posting on X, and I guess Zuck is threading on Threads. And he says, I think we can all agree Elon isn't serious. And at this time, it's time to move on. Let's see. The social media executives have been teasing the possibility of mixed martial arts fights since June, calling it a cage match, an informal term referring to wrestling. I love how this article is describing to us what a cage match is, referring to wrestling in a closed-in space where the combatants can't escape from.
Yeah, I'm down.
Well, Zuck went on to say, if Elon ever gets serious about a real date and an official event, he knows how to reach me. He didn't say how to reach him. He said
Threads.
threads through Threads. This wants a message through Threads. That's what I think too. You know what I think they should do is fight for pink slips.
Oh my God.
Right? Winner gets X and Threads.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. It's just like the Fast and the Furious, except it's Fast and Furious social media style.
Exactly.
And it is actually a fight to the death.
Yeah, which one is Paul Walker? Oh God.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
Paul.
R.I.P. dude. Yeah, Paul,
that
Big
guy.
Paul, we love you.
Candy paint with the word on top.
He didn't play that song.
Yeah,
last
he
night.
did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
When?
You missed it. You left early, bro.
Wait, hold on. Did he not?
I don't think he did.
Yeah, he did. It was like the third song.
I don't believe you. I'll look back at the set list right
Hang
now.
on.
I would have remembered that.
I think I've videotaped like every song.
You guys are such posts.
Oh, you were that guy at the concert with
Oh,
your
yeah.
phone up the whole time?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Okay.
He's
Rich
wearing
also,
his Brooks Walkers.
dude, before the concert started, like right after the opener left the stage and they were getting
Kirkland.
everything ready for Post
Kirkland.
Malone.
Kirkland.
I'm sitting like 3 rows in front of Travis and I just hear, hey, do you guys know if Post Malone's going to be here tonight?
That's
Like,
because
so loudly.
that's because the opening band, the Beach Fossils, that was literally their name. After every song, they went, all right, guys, hey, so Post Malone's here. Give it up for Post Malone. And after 8 times, I went, does he not know that we purchased Post Malone tickets?
There was
Beach
also a point.
Fossils were not on the ticket.
There was also a point where Travis, who again is like 3 rows behind me at a full concert, yells out, hey, Fletch, you ever watch the OC? I was like, what?
I felt like, again, the opening band, the Beach Fossils, may have been part
my
of some
gosh.
storyline of the OC. Like at some point, Marissa and whoever the other guy's name was went to go see the Beach Fossils.
I wish so badly that I wasn't away for the weekend and I could have also gone to the Post Malone concert. And but also been far enough away from both of you that we could have a triangle of shouting random non sequiturs to confuse the other people in the audience around us.
Yeah. Well, because there was another point
Mission
where
accomplished,
there
by
was-
the way.
There was another point where Sarah goes, hey, did Kendall start back at work yet? And I went, I don't know. Kendall! Did you start back at work yet?
By the way, congrats on the baby.
Yes. There's no baby.
I love the fact that at some point here in the near future, we're going to get in big trouble with Kendall because someone at her work or something is going to come up to her and be like, oh my God, I heard you're expecting, congrats. and then Ben is going to come in and have like that serious conversation. He's going to be like, guys, seriously, like it's gone way too far.
Or like at some point,
Somebody gifted Kendall diapers.
or at some point, Kendall like actually is pregnant, you know, and then you guys are still doing this thing and you ruin it for her.
Yeah. Well, geez, yeah, I didn't think of that. Like we could ruin the gender reveal if we keep it going.
Ladies
Wait.
love telling people that they're pregnant.
Wait, we should do a gender reveal next week.
Oh my
There's
God.
no baby.
Wait,
Well, for the
What-
pretend baby.
yeah, for the pretend baby, we'll do a gender reveal. It's a good
I
idea.
love parties. Ben,
Same.
don't kill our vibe.
Yeah,
Rich,
yeah.
do they make good feet store insoles for babies?
Oh, you're damn right they do. Oh,
Gotta-
you're damn right.
Look, you don't want to mess up those insoles when you're young.
No. You want to keep the arches high. You want to keep them healthy. And the best way to do that is at the Good Feet store. All right. So here's the trick. Look, if you're struggling with, foot pain, ankle pain, knee pain, back pain, hip pain, and you're walking around with it on a daily basis, you don't have to do that anymore. I want you to go to a Good Feet store. Even bring the babies. I'm sure they have tiny little ones too. Actually, don't quote me on that. I have no idea if that's true. But you get these insoles, these arch supports. You slide them into your footwear. You walk around on them, and frankly, within a week, you're going to feel the joint pain melt away that you were dealing with. That's exactly what I experienced. I know that Ben and Travis have reported that as well. We all got fitted. We all went for our free test walk. We all walked out of there. We all got a phone call from the Good Feet store a week later. They checked in on us, and it's really that sort of top-of-the-line service that you come to expect. Again, 200 locations around the U.S. and overseas, 30 years of experience. Book your appointment today at goodfeet.com or stop by a Good Feet store location near you. Okay, coming up next, Padres. Okay, a weekend recap. Are you in or you out? Have you given up on this team or not? 70470. Start your text with team. We'd love to hear from you. And also the best NFL preseason storylines on the other side. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Hey, so Ben,
Hour 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by the Jim Betrell Real Estate Team. We will start off with the Padres, who had a little bit of a rough weekend. They do start a 10-game homestand here starting today. They have 44 games left in the year, 5.5 games out of the final wild card spot. Let's see if they can do it. NL West yesterday, Giants beat the Rangers 3-2. Dodgers took down the Rockies 8-3. Dodgers have now won 8 straight here. NFL, couple preseason games yesterday. The Las Vegas Raiders beat the Niners 34-7. Saints beat the Chiefs 26-24. And in golf, Lucas Glover, he wins the opening round of the FedEx Cup tournament at TPC Southwind in Tennessee. It was hot. It was humid. He was sweaty. Along with the other top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings, Glover will compete in the BMW Championship next week at Olympia Fields in Illinois. Beautiful North Course there. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Betrell has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Yeah! Woo! Happy Monday to those who celebrate. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on a tired Monday for some, not all.
I'm pretty tired.
The some I'm referring to are Travis and Ben, who stayed up late last night going to Post Malone at the amphitheater down in Chula Vista. Okay, you start the show, there's a little adrenaline rush. How are we feeling as we make the final turn here?
Like Lucas Glover's pants. Not good.
I'm okay.
Dude, I'm pretty tired.
I mean, I would imagine come 10 o'clock, man, I'm going to need a nap.
I pounded a rainbow unicorn this morning, and that helped for a little bit.
Isolate that.
Wait a second. We're going to need that for later.
That's the flavor of Bang Energy they have in the vending machine.
At least you said you didn't. At least you didn't say you banged it. That would be.
I mean, I did. But it was such a cool show, and I'm so glad I went. But like, I even had adrenaline when I got home from it, so I couldn't fall asleep right away like I normally do.
Oh no!
And I left way earlier than Travis did. You said you sat in an hour and a half of traffic.
Oh yeah. Well, plus I had an hour drive home.
Oh my God!
So
that's right.
yeah. So once I got out of there, we got out of there just before midnight.
So did you fall asleep at like 1?
I probably fell asleep about 1:30.
Yeah. I was in bed before midnight, which I feel good about. But I did have that moment where we got home and I looked at Kendall and I was like, who the hell do we think we are? Like, we don't stay out till midnight on work nights anymore. That's not what we do.
This isn't. I'm very disappointed in us. This is ridiculous.
Right.
We're professional people.
Come on.
It's a Sunday.
And she looked at me and laughed and said, I don't work tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's the
Screw
point.
you.
Mm-hmm.
When does her work officially start?
Officially Wednesday, teachers go back, but next Monday, kids come back.
I learned that last night.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Kendall!
Yeah.
Hey, Kendall, it's me, Travis.
Yeah, he was shouting at them the entire performance.
Seemed fine.
Yeah,
Everybody liked it.
It's what normal people do.
Yeah. The 949 on the text line is asking, when are we starting back with look aheads, because he misses us messing with other shows.
We could start the trend.
Yeah, we could start it. We don't have a boss, so nobody tells us to do them.
Yeah,
so
we just do whatever we want. We still show up because the check's still clear. But yeah, we're not so.
Wait, you guys
sure.
get paid for this?
Oh,
what?
No, us neither is what I meant.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they would clear.
Right. Right.
Yeah. No, it's a thing that I think was more a part of the last regime, and so everybody collectively went, all right, well, don't have to do that anymore. Like,
that's not our favorite thing to do, so we won't do it. Also on the text line, we threw out the question of, have you given up on the Padres? And the 559 says, absolutely given up. Their body of work gives me no indication they'll make up any games. Shoot, they've lost ground after losing a series against the reeling Diamondbacks. And I mean, that's true. They do have the Diamondbacks again, though, in 3 games.
Yeah, at home.
Right. And by the way, the Diamondbacks are now ahead of them in the wild card race. So there's that.
By 3 games.
Yeah. How about this from the 619? I gave up on this team a while ago. They have no heart. They find ways to lose. It's simply self-delusion or and accepting reality. This team has shown us who they are. It's time to believe them.
That's kind of the point I've been trying to make, is that there's 44 games left. If they would have done something, it would have happened by now. And it's just the same team we see all the time. And this last 3 games is a perfect example of who they are. They come out and they look awesome on Friday night. They win by 5 runs. They put up 10. It's like, oh, yeah, there they go. Okay, this is going to be the run. And then the next 2 days, it's nothing. And there's no fight, and there's no heart, and there's no real effort in trying to make it happen. And that's what's the most frustrating thing, man. You get down by 1, it's like, okay, well, we're done. We'll just come back tomorrow.
Also, an update just real quick before we keep digging into those texts. Jonathan Rifkin and I are, I don't know, friends, I guess, with our Apple Watch. And, and
you're like Apple Health Buddies.
Yeah, Apple Health Buddies. He's finished 2 workworkouts this morning.
Well, that's a little fishy to me.
That is suspicious as hell.
Hang on a second. So maybe one of those were workouts, but maybe another one
Elevated
was a
heart
little bit
rate.
of. I'm just saying. Every once in a while, you roll over and you're just like, hello, and I'm just saying. Sometimes that's in the morning.
That's considered a workout, I guess.
Dude, if your heart rate goes on these Fitbit or Apple monitors, Apple Watches, like if your heart rate goes above 100 beats per minute, they count it as a workout. So it has to go past a certain threshold. In Jonathan's case, I imagine it was only like 60 seconds that it has to, it only has to record 60 seconds in order to be called a workout. But every little bit counts.
949 says, I haven't given up on them, as I will always be a Friar faithful, frustrated beyond belief, but cannot give up on my boys in brown.
Yeah. How about this? I'm not done with this team as long as they lower ticket prices and throw in some food and drink and vouchers, preferably in the Lexus Club.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
No way.
Lower ticket prices? No. They've just announced they're going up 9%.
Yeah, I'm curious what day of prices you can get for this 10-game homestand, because I would imagine they're gonna come down a little bit.
I like this a lot, actually. How about this? Yesterday, I turned off my MLB app notifications. I love this team, but I want to stop being upset with them. Like, I love this solution. All right, so this is kind of like at the crux of what we're talking about. It's like, yeah, we're all in San Diego. There's only one professional team in any of the 3 major sports, NBA, NFL, or Major League Baseball. You only get one of these teams to root for, and they are so horribly underwhelming in terms of meeting their expectations that it actually, instead of being a positive in your life, like those little ding ding notifications that you get when you're taking your wife out for a date or your girlfriend or something,
or Jonathan Rifkin completes a workout.
Well, right. Or or in Jonathan Rifkin's case, finishing several workouts a day. Like, you get those notifications and you're coming off of like maybe a good moment, a hearty laugh. Your date gets up to use the restroom, so you check your phone, and all of a sudden it says, oh, the Padres just lost to the Diamondbacks again. And you're like, what? How could that have happened? They were leading at one point. It's just, that's the kind of thing we're talking about is, yeah, we know you live here. You've been a fan for years. You're vested. You want to hear about them. You want to watch them, but they just keep breaking your heart over and over again.
484 says dumpster fryers are done. 500 is a pipe dream.
Wow. Yeah.
It's getting tougher and tougher to visualize. 484 also asking that Bob Barker neuters me so I don't procreate. I don't know if I agree with that one.
Get your pet spayed and neutered. We really failed so far with Fletch.
Padres have a 10-game homestand. All they got to do is go 8-2, and they're at 500.
Oh, that's it?
That's all they got to do.
That's it?
That's it.
That's all.
Come on.
408 says, Travis Fletch, I went to the concert too and was up at 4 a.m. working till 3 p.m. today. Death is on all our doorsteps, bro.
It is.
408, that sounds rough. I got a nap scheduled for about noon today that I can't wait for.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm gonna finish up as much as I can here, then head on home and take a little snoozer.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Listen, you guys, it's the rough life.
It is rough.
Post Malone, then it's talking sports, and then it's 10 toes up.
Someone's got to do it.
How are you going to make it?
Oh man, I am just exhausted.
I am exhausted from thinking so much while everybody else isn't thinking like I am.
That's right.
No, I mean, I'm very sympathetic to the thought process. I'm a terrible fan, by the way. I'm a terrible fan. Like I'm I'm classically described as a bandwagon fan because I don't care about allegiance to an awful product. I really don't. I mean, I get it and I appreciate it. And I really, really appreciated those fans of teams that I played for who weren't good. And I played for a couple of them where we're really struggling and these people continue to show up. But that's not the type of fan I've ever been. I just don't have time for it. I can't go through it with a baseball team or a football team or a basketball team. Like I jump on and off. If a team is hot, great. If they're entertaining, great. If Fernando Tatis Jr. and the rest of the cast, they're in the postseason and this thing is roaring, I'm going to be roaring right there with them. But if they're going to play like this, A, I've got better places to spend my money, and B, I got better things to do with my time. Like it bothers me to no end when you hear quotes like you heard from Juan Soto last week, where he literally admitted to this team giving up. It's like, well, what about those fans who don't give up on you? What about those people? Like they're just left hung out to dry.
Mm-hmm.
You get what you give. And if right now you're giving zero effort, zero fight, like what's there to tell you that the fan base should do anything different?
Yeah. And did you I guess he tried to walk back those comments a little bit, right?
Of course he did.
Yeah.
We see that comment.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a quote. He said, I shouldn't have said anything like that. I trust in these guys. I think everybody's trying to do their best, trying to get out there and win games. That was the walk back. Yeah. But
he said what he said. And look, I'm kind of glad he said it. At least someone's acknowledging it.
Well, I mean, the truth comes out. That's what fans have been saying for the past 70 games. And now here it is. A player finally says it. There are also reports that Padres are trying to extend Juan Soto's contract. Very aggressive on the matter, trying to get that done.
I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
There needs to be some retooling with this team. And I don't know what the issue is, but that's an easy one to retool, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah. Look, I think, look, there are some, let's put it this way. There are some large contracts that can be going by the wayside very soon here. And this club can get a facelift in the offseason, whether they really like it or not, they're going to. It's first of all, it's just the nature of the business. Like, there are going to be certain guys who are going to be looking to get out of San Diego. There are going to be certain guys who the Padres can't afford to keep in San Diego. And then as a result, you're going to have to respond by making moves in concert with the moves that either happen to you or you enact on. So this team is going to look different next year than they look this year. I mean, potentially, and this is something we discussed early in the show, gentlemen, they may have a different manager because Bob Melvin, you can already see it. The early reporting of Bob Melvin being scapegoated for this awful season. It happened with Jace Tingler. It happened with Andy Green before Jace. It's happening now with Bob Tingler. We may as well call him Bob Tingler because he's going to meet the same fate.
Yeah, well, I think there's two things we know for sure with this team. A, they have a lot of bad contracts here, and we can name a couple of them. One's Jake Cronenworth, one's Xander Bogaerts. You could argue that the revised version of Manny Machado's contract is a bad contract. And two, they're not all going to be here in the future, and they got to figure out some way to offload some of these. And I don't know if that's with Juan Soto at the trade deadline next year. Like, that's an option they can potentially do. Soto's under contract for one more year. Do you re-sign Blake Snell? Does that hurt the Soto thing? Do you re-sign Soto? Does that hurt the Blake Snell thing? Like, there's so many things that need to be figured out. And I just think a lot of it would have been easier if they would have, could have, should have traded people at the deadline.
Yeah.
Well, and you're talking about trading people at the deadline, and they don't. So Preller goes all in on it, pushes the chips in the middle of the table, and we go, okay, man, let's see it happen. Blake Snell would have been an easy one to trade off because you don't use him. I mean, you never need him. You never need him as a closer.
Josh Hader.
I'm sorry. I meant Josh Hader. Did I say Snell?
Yeah.
I meant Josh Hader.
No, Josh Hader would have been a perfect option. And by the way, teams were interested, and you could have restocked this farm a little bit because it needs to be restocked because you've moved so many pieces to bring in Josh Hader last year, to bring in Juan Soto. Like, you've moved so much of what was the best farm system in Major League Baseball that you need to refill it a little bit. And they didn't. And we said at the time, if you're not going to, it better work. It better mean a postseason for these San Diego Padres. And it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. And that is all on the GM.
It doesn't,
100%.
It doesn't look like that at the moment. Now, again, there's still a chance. There's still an opportunity. The door is not completely closed. And if for some reason this team got hot, and let's just say they went 8-2 over this next 10-game homestand, they're at 500. Everything we're saying here gets tossed. It does. I mean, we all turn around. Everybody's back on the bandwagon. Notifications get turned back on your phone. Everything changes. But, I mean, the Padres haven't done anything to give us any kind of inkling that will occur.
We got this tweet I'm about to read from Fernando Mania. But if you want to weigh in, 70470, start your message with team on our text line. Have you given up on the Padres? That's the question of the day. Have you given up on the Padres? Yes or no, and why? This going back to our conversation about Bob Melvin, though, with Fernando Mania on Twitter, he reached out and said, the manager doesn't hit or pitch. Fine. The manager doesn't affect chemistry in the clubhouse. Okay. Is the manager responsible for in-game decisions? If so, Melvin is terrible at that. If not, what does a manager do? Here's the thing about Bob Melvin. When he came over from Oakland in trade, he was rescued by A.J. Preller. Remember that. He was rescued. This guy was playing for an organization that they were literally flushing the toilet bowl on. They were offloading salary after salary. They were getting rid of all of their big contracts. And they literally threw out a lifesaver to Bob Melvin, the Padres did, and said, hey, as long as we don't have to trade for a lot, like as long as we don't have to give the Oakland organization a ton, we want you to be our manager. We'll take on your contract. And the A's agreed. And so Bob Melvin, his career in some ways were saved by the Padres, and he got an opportunity to manage a ball club with all of these great superstars. Well, the problem is Bob Melvin can't hit or pitch. And by the way, I'm not 100% convinced that all of the indications we've heard from front office people or sources around the front office that Bob Melvin really does call more of the shots than people think. I think it's all baloney. I think A.J. Preller handles a lot, and I mean a lot, of the in-game decision-making. I think Bob Melvin is working off of a script. Again, this is what I feel about it, because I think at the end of the day, A.J. Preller is a control freak who isn't going to give anybody else control over this ball club. He's only going to trust himself. And
that's worked really well.
And that's for better or worse. Right now, it's for worse, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, and we saw it last season about the iPad out in the dugout. I mean, the iPad was calling the shots. So, but I mean, if we're talking in-game decisions, much like the texter brings up, there's been a lot of times where I have said, and we've all complained that, oh man, Bob, you left that pitcher in one batter too long. And at some point, and look, if this season does officially implode and it's over with, someone's head is going to roll. Yes. And it's probably going to be Bob Melvin.
Yeah. You know, I'm so glad you did that, because I was about to go into another. Let's get to the NFL. Some of the best preseason storylines available. We'll get back to the Padres talk. Again, 70470. Start your text with team. Have you given up on the Padres yet? Where do you want to start here, boys? What piece of the NFL do we want to look at first?
Have you seen that Saints story? Because it's really funny. So the kicker that they I believe drafted or either found undrafted, they bring him in. He makes the game-winning kick. As he's leaving the field, security mistakes him for a fan. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Dude,
no, I did not see this.
Do not look like NFL players.
No, they don't. And this particular kicker looks like he's about 13 years old. I mean, he's a little guy.
Yeah. Kickers,
he's tiny.
During my playing career, they legitimately hung out with the offensive line, I think, so that people knew they belonged with the team.
So he put out a tweet. His name's Blake Group. He says, Step 1, get questioned walking onto the field pregame for not having credentials. Step 2, hit a game winner. Step 3, get stopped by security thinking I was a fan when trying to walk out the player exit. Stay humble. thankful, great team win, or at Saints.
Okay, 2 really quick before we scram here. The Chargers are going to sit all their starters for the rest of the preseason. Good idea or bad idea?
They've done that the last couple years.
Yeah.
I think that's Brandon Staley's way of doing things.
It's his deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would throw him in there for at least one game.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get these guys kickstarted a little bit.
The other thing is Zach Wilson 2.0. Are you trusting what you've seen? Again, look, Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starting quarterback in New York with the Jets. But are you trusting what you've seen from Zach Wilson? Because he looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does.
I saw Colin go on a rant about this, how Zach Wilson's doing himself a lot of favors here early in this preseason because he's going to be able to have a career maybe similar to a Ryan Tannehill or maybe similar to a Ryan Fitzpatrick where, he might bounce around a little bit, but there's going to be opportunities for him to play because he does have a really good arm.
Yeah. And under the tutelage of Aaron Rodgers, I think he's got a good shot here.
I do too. I mean, I think he serves as starting quarterback, but also he's going to help tutor Zach Wilson. Also, by the way, the better he plays, the more of a trade candidate he becomes.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. All right, coming up next, San Franciscans and sex. How has it changed? We'll explain on the other side. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Hey, it's Fletch. I'm here to talk a little bit about Long Ball. That's right, the world's finest lemon iced tea, ready to drink cocktail that can keep the party going all day long. Over the weekend, the Kendall and I went up to Temecula. We did a little wine tasting tour. After we were done, we got back to the hotel and decided to go for a jump in the pool. I was wearing my Long Ball hat, and I was stopped immediately by a husband and wife who were like, "Oh my God, we just found Long Ball last week and think it's the best." And that's what I want you to do this week. Go find Long Ball. It's at a bunch of different retailers all around San Diego. Perfect for early tea times, twilight sessions, sitting by the pool. Anything you do outside, Long Ball is the way to go. Crafted in San Diego in January of 2023, Long Ball is shareable. It's crushable. It's a canned cocktail with just 3 ingredients, only 123 calories and 5 grams of sugar. Long Balls have that clean, refreshing finish that will keep you in the game all day long. You can find Long Ball at more than 20 San Diego golf courses, a bunch of different retailers. For a full list, head over to longballshooter.com for the full list of retailers. You can also sign up there for the Long Ball Challenge, which is your chance to win $10,000 in cash and prizes. And while you're at it, head on over to sportsSD.com because if you go down to the contests and promotions tab, you will find a link to win a free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. That's right, we're taking you golfing thanks to our friends over at Long Ball. Go long, tease nuts. Please drink responsibly. This update is presented by the Jim Patrol Real Estate Team. Padres dropped 2 of 3 to the Diamondbacks over the weekend. Now, Padres sitting 5.5 games out of that final playoff spot in the National League. 44 games to go. They need to make up some ground quickly. They do have a 10-game homestand starting today. They start off with 3 against the Orioles. NL West yesterday, Giants beat the Rangers 3-2. Dodgers beat the Rockies 8-3. NFL, couple preseason games yesterday. The Raiders beat the 49ers 34-7. Saints beat the Chiefs 26-24. We got 3 more Sundays, people. 3 more Sundays until 7 hours of commercial-free football. And in golf, Lucas Glover wins the FedEx Cup opening tournament at the TPC Southwind. It was hot, it was humid, it was sweaty in Tennessee. Glover, along with the top 50 in the FedEx Cup standings, will compete in the BMW Championship next week at Olympia Fields in Illinois. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrol has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Big Rich, GD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, and our iHeartRadio Music Festival. It is back. It's happening September 22nd and 23rd at a T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage, performance list, massive. Foo Fighters, Fall Out Boy, Kelly Clarkson, Kane Brown, Tim McGraw, Lenny Kravitz. It goes on and on and on. Sheryl Crow, it doesn't stop. And while the world is listening on iHeartRadio, you could be there. 3 chances every weekday for you to win your trip for 2 plus $1,000 spending cash. Just keep listening to win. Your next chance coming up here at 105. So keep it locked in. 105. Yeah. Also, we still have 2 pairs of tickets to give away. So we have Pantera tickets and we have Duran Duran at North Island Credit Union Amphitheater on August 22nd. Pantera at the same place, August 26th. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Or we got to give one away this segment, boys.
Yeah, for sure. It's either going to be one or the other, Duran Duran or Pantera. But at the end of this segment, we're going to give away a pair of tickets. We'll give away another pair at 8:55. So be listening for that. Did you guys see this this article out of the San Francisco Standard describing what people are doing now in driverless taxis in San Fran? It is absolutely outrageous. But
yeah, so just last week, I think San Francisco voted in. Did you just roll your eyes?
No, I have something in my eye.
Oh, I thought you rolled your eyes at like whatever robo-taxis.
No, if we're talking about sex and robots, I'm in.
Well, that's the problem. No. Well, every time we're talking about robots, we're talking about sex. I mean, it doesn't matter if we're talking about driverless cars or we're talking about actually banging robots.
So wait, is this like Hot Tub Time Machine 2 where the cars will just come pick you up and it's autonomous, but it's like Uber?
Yes. Exactly. So these were just voted in. I thought it was last week. It might have been the week before that robo-taxis completely fine. They can run wild out in San Francisco. And there's already been several problems. At one point, all the robo-taxis just shut off and they were just in the middle of the street blocking traffic. Now there's this story that apparently that's all people do in the driverless taxis.
Just get in the back and bang?
Yeah, have sex.
Yeah. As these autonomous vehicles have become increasingly popular in San Francisco, some riders are wondering just how far they can push these vehicles' limits, especially with no front seat driver or chaperone to discourage them from questionable behavior.
Yeah, but there's for sure cameras.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like, but that's the other thing is, think about our robot overlords who are like keeping an eye, like Big Brother, on all things backseat of taxi cabs. And you're going to go ahead and, I don't know, just get a little frisky on your way to TGI Fridays with your date.
Our human race would be so easy to overthrow by robots or aliens or whatever, because all we want to do is just have sex with whatever new thing there is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or turn whatever we can do into porn.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, internet, this awesome thing for sharing data all over the world that we can use at all times. You know what the number 1 industry on the internet is? Porn.
Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you the Apple Vision Pros.
Porn.
Yeah.
Oh, autonomous cars, this awesome new innovation and technology. They'll take you around. No need for taxi drivers anymore. The whole new industry. Sex.
Yeah.
Porn.
Yeah. SpaceX, rockets to space. You can go. The passenger flights into outer space. You heard of the Mile High Club. How about the 60 Mile High Club? I mean, it is impossible to stop the voracious sexual appetite of human beings because I mean, much like rabbits, we're just looking to copulate in any little dwelling we can find.
How about this? A lady on a flight gets thrown off because she's screaming that somebody isn't real. First thing the internet does, she's kind of hot.
No, she is. I mean, objectively a very attractive woman.
But
though.
also, when we're talking about, billionaires shooting rockets into space, did they have to shape them like that? I mean,
sex,
Yeah.
porn.
Well, yeah. I mean, but Jeff Bezos made a wiener-shaped rocket ship. I mean, come on.
like, it's not even sort of like you don't even have to use your imagination.
Everybody who has never seen this before needs to look up Jeff Bezos
Blue
Origin rockets, and you'll just. I mean, it's a wiener. That's all it is.
It's
Plain and simple.
Literally, he took the blueprints from Austin Powers. Looks just like that.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But speaking of attractive people, I guess.
Yeah.
Why are quarterbacks wearing sports bras?
I don't know. It's
This
weird.
is weird. Yeah.
Right, Rich? Do you know what this
No.
is for?
I think it's something like almost like a chest. I haven't looked into it, so you could look it up. But I think it's a chest, like a heart rate monitor. Like it's one of those halter monitors.
Yeah, it says stat something.
Okay, let me look it up. What does it say? Stat what?
I can't see the second word.
Stat sports? Is that what it
Yeah,
is?
that is what it is.
Stat sports vest.
But
Let's
they
see what
are
it
like,
says.
so Trey Lance is wearing one. Kyler Murray, that was a hilarious picture, by the way. Someone made a meme of Kyler Murray wearing, literally, it's a sports bra for men.
Okay,
That's what
here it
looks
is.
like.
Here it is. I found it. Okay, it says improve your game with the Apex Athletics series. The FIFA-approved GPS tracker is the most advanced wearable tech on the market. Track and analyze your game like the pros. Make yourself faster, stronger than ever before. So it is one of those things. It like tells your temperature. It shows exactly how many steps you took, how many miles you ran, how fast your heart was beating, like, all those like measurable statistics, how much you were sweating.
Yeah, they
all
also have
stuff.
that you can wear on your wrist.
Right.
Like, why are we wearing bras now?
Right.
Yeah.
And the Kyler Murray one's hilarious. They took that scene from the Adam Sandler Longest Yard, where all the guys in prison are being cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And they put Kyler Murray right next to that, and they look the same.
Okay, check this out. So I'm going to show it to the camera. This is from their official website. This is statsports.com. This is like these three guys. Okay.
Some manly looking dudes.
Okay, so it's three guys wearing the man's ears, and here's the only thing I could say about it is if you pay me enough money, I would wear a bra too.
Yeah,
right,
sure.
right. Well, in fact, I was thinking we could buy these. They're only $200 a piece.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that way we can
are
track.
doing next level fit guy stuff
Yeah,
summer.
yeah.
So
I
maybe
feel
it's time.
more supported.
That's next level.
Maybe I could throw one on stage at Posty.
Oh, by the way, I did get some suggestions for next level fat guy stuff from some friends of the show. Sent me some messages over the weekend saying, how come you guys haven't done like blindfold taste test of, say, Jack in the Box, where we go get a array of burgers and then we just bite into them blindfold and then we try to guess which ones they are while ranking them.
I'd love
That
to
is
do
such
that.
a good idea.
But I feel like I gained back all the weight I lost this week.
But I mean, just one bite though.
Okay,
Just
listen,
one bite.
we're gonna get back to at some point next level fat guy stuff. I mean, can next level fit guy stuff last forever? It's not
No,
forever.
it can't. It can
No.
barely
we
last
all
4
wanted
weeks.
to get to 10% of our body weight off, right? And I feel like we all gave up.
Well, no,
Are
no,
we
no,
giving
no,
up?
no,
Come
no,
on.
nobody's
Come
giving up.
on.
We just weighed in for the first time. We lost 30 pounds collectively.
Yeah.
27.
Okay.
And our next weigh-in's in 3 weeks, so we can do this.
Yeah, buddy. And plus,
Yeah.
like, we got one more week of paleo, and then guess what? Then we're gonna pick a different diet, and the next diet I heard is 100% cheese. Like, you just eat cheese the whole time because I miss it so much.
Where'd you get one of them cheese fountains? They have
Oh,
like
God.
7 different kinds of
Fondue.
cheese.
Man,
I like fun. Have you ever been to the melting pot?
little nacho
Do,
cheese.
do they?
yes,
do
I
they
have.
still have melting
Oh,
pots?
hell yeah, they do. There's one in Gaslamp.
I've
I
never
went
been to
one.
one.
I went to one in Arizona, and I'll tell you right now, the worst place to go to a melting pot is in Arizona because it is so hot outside, and the last thing you want is molten cheese. But for whatever reason, I walked in there, and as soon as that air conditioning hit, I was just like, all right, I'm back in. I'm
Doing
back
it.
in the
I'm
game.
doing it.
I'm a big fan of the melting pot. Those
good stuff.
pretzel little doughy bites that they give you to dip in the cheese.
Whoa. Come on.
Don't bother me with a
Even
great time.
vegetables taste good when you dip them in cheese.
By the way, we had Sheena and Joe from Jack in the Box in here
We
on
did.
last Friday.
Yeah.
Uh,
Turns out Joe is not from Jack in the
She's
Box.
not from Jack in the
But
Box. He's
Sheena is the VP.
yeah, yeah, apparently big time. Either way, fantastic people.
Yeah.
And
Wonderful.
they brought in a bunch of Jack in the Box, and I had a breakfast taco for the first time. That's all I want now.
You had an
are
egg roll and
breakfast
you threw it
tacos.
at me.
I know. I'm just saying
You deserve that though.
the egg rolls
Did
I've
I?
had. What I haven't had at Jack in the Box was a breakfast taco until Friday,
Yeah.
and it was phenomenal.
Sheena gave us the best tip I've ever been given by anybody.
Just
She
dip
goes,
everything in ranch.
Yeah, she was just like Jack in the Box. She was literally, it should be their slug line. She was like, everything tastes better with ranch. And I started pouring ranch on everything. And I was just like, oh my God, the jalapeno poppers. She's like, see? And I was like, oh my God, the breakfast taco. She's like, see?
Wait,
I was
were there
the fully
jalapeno
loaded
poppers?
breakfast sandwich. She's like, see?
Were there jalapeno poppers here? I missed them.
Yeah, you
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
get one?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They were really good.
Oh, thanks a lot. What I was thinking that Joe, he's a pretty fit guy. He might be
is.
able to help us on this next level fit guy journey.
Let's ask him what his diet is.
Yeah.
I pray
saying.
it includes at least 2 or 3 meals from Jack in the Box a week.
You know, I think Joe does something we don't do.
What's that?
I
Curly
think he
fries.
works out.
Oh,
You know, you keep
yeah.
bringing that up.
What does
and
that even mean?
It's starting to bother me.
Let's start doing push-ups during the show.
Why do you
wanna
want to
do
do that?
push-ups?
You could do
Yeah,
push-ups during the show.
right.
No,
you could do
it's
them.
The whole
Nobody's
thing, it works
stopping
better
you.
when all three of us are doing it. There's accountability, you know?
You could, but we could watch you and clap and
Yeah,
like.
oh, that's
cheer
right.
you
We can
on.
cheer you on. Yeah,
Like we should
go.
We should have you do it. Actually, next segment you should do some push-ups.
No, I want to like get to 100 push-ups per show. You know what I
That
mean?
honestly sounds
coming-
terrible.
Coming up next, Ben does 100 push-ups.
No, not today. I'm too tired.
Wait, no, now we're
I
making
want a nap and
excuses.
pizza. That's what I want right
no
now.
pizza.
That's
That's
where
not
my
paleo.
mental state is.
The cavemen didn't have pizza.
I want
but
to
they
lay
did
down on the
have
couch
push-ups.
and like pour a Costco pizza into my mouth.
Wait, we don't know though for sure if they didn't have pizza.
Mm.
Oh, speaking of, we're
Pizza
gonna have
sounds so
the real inventor of the stuffed crust pizza on with us tomorrow.
Yeah.
Why do
Yeah,
you torture us?
He joins us coming up tomorrow. He has no idea how important he's been to all of our lives.
Right.
And if his story is true, because allegedly this recipe was stolen from him.
That's correct. My Pizza Hut.
I've never met somebody who I care for more in the courts than this man who joins us tomorrow. All right. But how about this? We care about our listeners as well. So we're going to do this. 844-570-1360. Caller number 5 gets to call their own shot. Duran Duran, Pantera. We've got 2 pairs of tickets remaining. Duran Duran and Pantera. So 844-570-1360. Whoever calls in and is caller number 5 gets to select which concert they want to go to. And then whatever concert tickets are left over, we'll give away at the end of next segment. And coming up next, we get back to the text line. Padres, are you in or you out? That's next. Big Rich, TD and Fletch.
Catch my breathing even closer behind.
Have you given up on the Padres? We'll get to your text next, and we wrap things up.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, there's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes in any industry where you start thinking to yourself, like, goodness gracious, like, what is the truth? And the Padres are no different. The Padres are no different. You know, you have situations that arise all the time where, you know, you think to yourself, like, what is actually happening that we don't know? Sometimes it's very obvious. Like, sometimes people are very sloppy at hiding things, and you just go, oh, well, this is the reason why that happened. And sometimes it's less obvious. With the Padres, though, you know, like many people who try to lie to you, it's very obvious what's going on. Bob Melvin isn't the problem. Bob Melvin is far from the problem. But Bob Melvin is a very easy guy to blame for all their issues. And so he's going to be blamed for his issues. I mean, look, is it a lie that Bob Melvin is a part of a very disappointing, he's the manager of a very disappointing season? No, that's obviously true. He's a part of a very disappointing season. But is he the only reason why the Padres are having a disappointing season?
It's been a
Is he the-
disappointing decade. There's one person who's been here and been in a power role the whole time. It's not that hard to see.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one constant, and he's fired a lot of people.
Yeah, but it doesn't sound like he's going anywhere. At least, I mean, this was we're talking about AJ Preller, obviously, Peter
Oh, that's not
Seidler.
who I was talking about.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I'm. What did I say? Did I say Blake Snell?
It's Big Blake Snell all along. Feels like
I was talking about the guy that
episode.
I was talking about the guy that walks up and down the bleachers going,
Yeah. Right. We
Get him
listen.
out of here.
That organ guy has to go.
Bam, 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 bam.
Wait, I told him to play the Charge song. Look. Peter Seidler earlier this season talked about Preller and said he's excellence. I mean, he's his guy. I don't know what else he's going to say. He's obviously not going to call him out. But if you go by face value and what he said there, AJ Preller's not going anywhere. But someone's going to have to go somewhere at the end of the season if it continues on. I mean, right now, they're on pace to do what? 71, 72 wins, maybe?
Dude, this team finishes with 72 wins.
I mean, Holy cow.
And that's got to be considered one of the biggest disappointments in sports history.
In sports history. Yeah, I'm glad you said it that way because that's absolutely, I mean, for sure, it's one of the greatest collapse we've ever witnessed in baseball altogether. But in sports history, it's right up there. I mean, given what the preseason expectations were for the Padres,
95 wins.
and the fact that they haven't been like riddled with injuries, they haven't been like the most unhealthy team. It's just they've really, really underperformed the entire season. It would be a historical sports collapse, not just limited to baseball. How about this from the text line? Because we asked, are you giving up on the Padres yet? 70470, start your message with team. And we got this from Joe. He says, hey, it's Joe, not the one that works at Jack in the Box. And also, I don't work out, and I do need to start. And it's really just a lot of protein with 2 meals a day. Anyways, if the Padres lose today, I'm giving up.
Well,
Hi, Joe. Good morning.
Unfortunately, Joe, they're playing the Orioles, who are good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I think
Although,
they're first place in their division, I think.
yeah, but have the Padres done better against winning teams?
That's a good point.
I feel like they have.
I mean, they still haven't beat anyone like 4 times. So
No, I mean, not in a row.
No,
Collectively.
that hasn't happened yet.
let's see.
but
The Orioles have been on a little bit of a streak here for winning. They got a lot of W's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
7
6,
of their last
7 of
10.
10.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they are first place.
Yeah,
in the
they're
AL
first
East.
place in the AL East. They've won 7 of 10. I mean, look, the Baltimore
73 and 45 on the year. The Baltimore Orioles.
you cannot run into a hotter team at the worst time.
The Padres might not get 73 wins this year, period.
Dude, this is not going to go well unless it does. I mean, I guess unless it does.
Here's from the 386. Bob Melvin sucks.
Okay, no, you ready for this? Sticking with the AL East. The AL East does not have a team under 500 right now.
Yeah.
New York Yankees 60 and 58 are in
Ooh.
last place in their division. Like, can we take a step back and acknowledge how freaking lucky the Padres are
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
to still even be relevant? Because if they're anywhere else in baseball, in the American League, they are not relevant anymore. In fact, they haven't been for weeks.
I'm so upset. I'm just going to quickly change gears. So what tickets did you give away last break? Was it Pantera?
Duran was
Duran?
the listeners
Okay.
what he wanted.
Then we got
Listener
Pantera
choice.
tickets.
We
Let's
have
do
Pantera tickets.
56. 856.
I like it.
856 844 570 1360. That's when you got to call. We'll give our streamers a chance here. By the way, if you're not listening on the free iHeartRadio app, just remember you can do so. So download that to any device you have. Take us with you on the go. Big Rich, CD, and Fletch in your pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cowboys from hell.
I love this song a lot. How about this? The Padres, they're playing as though they're cooked, Bob Melvin. Going to need some momentum like the 27-pound weight loss that you guys achieved and make it into the postseason. Not sure they have the grit or the fortitude, but we do. You're damn right we do. We're paleo for the next week. I hate that we're paleo for the next week. Can we change that?
Yeah.
Let's go vegetarian.
Is there a tortilla diet?
We have asked
There
about
is.
that.
We looked it up. There's a tortilla.
Yeah, but it's
diet.
not meant to like make you lose weight.
What's it? Just meant to make you happy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a
Which I'm
mental
okay.
diet.
Like it's like an ice cream diet. We can do that too. Thank you guys both, Rich, Trav, Rich down the line. Thank you, Rich's mother-in-law, for letting him use her office, and thank you, Post Malone. That was a hell of a show last night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chula Vista. Good
That's
night.
right. Calling Tower in the Herd. It's up next. We'll see you tomorrow.